Hello.
Back with my man Tom
Yeah.
for another episode of As Yet Unnamed.
Yeah, hopefully the name will come to us eventually. I think it'll happen naturally. What we should do is get the sponsorship out of the way, first and foremost. This one's brought to you by Tom's Empire, which is a big growing business of mine, in which people hire amps for all your guitar and amplification needs. Nath, I know you've hired an amp.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of Tom's
Yeah.
Amp Hire.
Yeah, reasonable pricing, did you think?
Excellent pricing. Yeah.
Delivered on
Can't-
time?
Delivered on time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really pissed the neighbours off for our Brexit party yesterday.
Yeah.
Played some punk through it.
Yeah?
Some good.
Did you play any
British
Queen or anything like that?
punk. Towards the end of the night.
Yeah,
when the sing-alongs start.
Yeah, We
that's
Will
when the
Rock
Queen
You and
comes
stuff
on.
like that.
Yeah,
I imagine that was played quite a bit last night.
It was more of I Want to Break Free.
Yeah.
That was a real classic. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that we played that about 4 times in a row. I think
I think the Brexiteers'
that's
national
what eventually
anthem.
broke the next door neighbours. To be honest,
The national anthem that they chose, the Brexiteers, was "I'm Free," by what the hell was the name? It's some weird, obscure '90s band that have come and gone.
so the song's called "I'm Free."
Yeah, I can't remember at all, but the actual vocalist from the band voiced his. I don't think he was very happy about it, to be honest. I think he said, I'm not a Brexiteer, don't use my song for that purpose at all. I'm pissed off about that. But anyway, you can use my amps to play whatever you like, feel free. And cheap and available today to you, to anyone you know. I'll get in my van, I'll take them. We've got a staff of 50 now. Terry, he's in admin. He'll get in touch with you about anything you want. No worries.
He's a good man, Terry.
Yeah.
Good man.
He's reliable.
He's an absolute wizard on emails. I've never seen a man.
He's
fire
speedy,
out
isn't
so
he?
many
Yeah.
emails.
Yeah, he really knows what he's talking about as well. I mean, much more than I do. I don't even know what an amp is.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, usually when you look at a company on Facebook and you click on the chat and it'll say usually replies within an
Yeah,
hour.
it
usually
does. It
replies
does
within
give
a
you that
week.
information. Yeah.
I mean, there's no time that you can give Terry because he replies as you're
It's quicker than the
typing.
speed of light, isn't it? He's brilliant.
But that's customer service that you want.
That's because he's suicidal, lives with his mum, and is in his 40s. But he's perfect for the job, and it works out. So that's Terry. So with the sponsorship out of the way, this is the second episode in a quick succession after the first one, and yeah, we've got a variety of subjects for you. First of which, I can't even
We're
decide.
like the intellectual dark web, aren't we? Or do you think we're part of it?
I hope so. Yeah, somehow, some way. Do you make your own way onto the dark web, or do people put you on there?
Well, listening back to our last podcast, I think we've already earned
Yeah, that
Earn
right,
that
I
accolade.
suppose. Yeah, maybe. Who's to say? Maybe there's a group of people whose fetish it is to go around finding obscure podcasts and putting them on the dark web for his own sexual gratification.
I liked how you bring sexuality into it. Tom. I
There's-
didn't know podcasts could be sexual. But
Well, maybe if you're that lonely, even just the thought of two people talking, even if it's not to you directly, turns you on. I think that's possible, isn't it?
well, like we said last time with your velvety turns,
Yeah,
I'm sure that there is possibly some people out there that are
Yeah,
furiously
I like to hope
knocking
that.
one out. So
Yeah, my tones do that to people, but I doubt it. It's something that's probably just in my head and nowhere else. But there you go. The first thing I want to get into, as discussed before we started recording, was the idea of the most awkward situation you could possibly be in a group of people. And this is an idea that's reoccurred to me a few times. Basically, when I've been sat in meetings at work or things of that nature.
It's a high pressure situation. It's almost panic inducing.
Yeah,
If you're in a group of friends, then it's all right. You can get away with a lot more.
Yeah,
But when you're in a high pressure situation where you need to convey concepts and ideas, and you're in a suit, everybody else is in a suit.
oh yeah, no one's in suits in my meetings, but it's just the pressure of the situation. And for some reason, I've had this fantasy for a long time that I'll hope will never come true, of just saying something really loud and out of the blue that completely throws everybody, that's nothing to do with anything that anybody's said or anything, that would just completely alienate you from everybody instantly, and you'd basically never be able to live it down. There's something quite alluring about it at the same time, though. I don't know why.
I can see what you mean. It's definitely breaking conventions.
Yeah, it's quite a nice idea in a way, but at the same time horrible.
It could be a massive power play, though. I think it's what happens after the event and how you deal with it.
Yeah.
That then becomes your legacy. I mean, everyone's main fear is in a meeting is something like maybe shouting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
accidentally shitting yourself. Maybe you've had a few bevies the night before. That's really embarrassing. But the way you deal with it.
But with that.
I mean, if you get up and get really aggressive about it and start blaming other people. I mean, you set the tone.
If you shit yourself and blame other people, that's phenomenal. That's taking charge of that meeting, basically. That's you leaving with all the power on your shoulders, basically. You've taken everything that you could take from that. That's fantastic. But with shitting yourself, that's something that, although it will be really embarrassing, it's still understandable because people go, well, that could happen to me. But if you say something that's completely out of the blue and nobody understands, like you're sat in a meeting, it's all quiet and it's just a break between someone talking who's basically chairing the meeting, and you suddenly stand up and go, a duck in a scarf, like that, or something completely fucking weird, or not as random as that, just say something that was almost sort of following on from what was said before, but not quite. like you'd just fallen asleep and then you thought that the conversation had stayed put, but it's moved along quite nicely, and you think you're still having that same conversation. Yeah, Jeff was right, even though that's nothing to do with what anybody's talking about now.
Well, again, I think it comes down to how you play the cards that you play after that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you just go silent and pretend it never happened?
You'd have to, because
do you follow on and try and add more context to what you've just said?
I don't want to go to the point where people are sure that I'm insane. It just has to be a brief moment where it's something so unexpected, where you have to be awkward about it afterwards, and no one can explain it, not even yourself, and you don't know what to do. I don't know why this idea's come about, really.
Just to throw in a little anecdote about shitting yourself. I'm a well-travelled man. Been to Scarborough and quite a few places in the UK, but I went to India a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I think, yeah.
Travelling around India for a month or so, and we stayed at this homestay, and it was an elevated place that we went to. It took us fucking ages to climb up the side of the hill to get there, and it was absolutely beautiful there. You know, sights all around. You know, good 360 degrees of just mountains. And up there, you can see a lot more in terms of the skies, light pollution.
Yeah.
And it's the first time that I've ever seen the Milky Way.
Oh, wow.
And just as a prelude to reaching this homestay, in Darjeeling, the night before, I'd got what is called Delhi Belly.
Yeah.
A rumble in the jungle. And it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
So I spent most of the night trying to get rid of it. But there was still a bit of excess left, So we're on top of this mountain at this homestay, and it's been chucking it down with rain, so you can't really see much. And then the rain clears for a minute, and we all go out and we watch the Milky Way, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
All of us, the family that we're staying with, a couple of other travellers, we're just up there, and it's just my eyeballs are just absorbing this amazing scene. And then out of nowhere, the rumble in the jungle, it just comes back. and it left my arsehole without me really knowing, and I shit myself, and I was like, oh no, because you don't really know what to say when you
You
shit
shat
yourself.
yourself in full view of the Milky Way.
Full
Wow.
view of the Milky Way. So I
Wow.
went to this little toilet, which was just a cabin with a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
Managed to squeeze out the rest of the
Yeah.
dark water,
Yeah.
and then when I got back out, fucking clouds had come. So
Oh, for God's sake. That's a beautiful story. That really is. Imagine shitting yourself in full view of the Milky Way. Do you think that it was because of the beauty that
I shit
your
myself in
bowels... Yeah, your bowels reject... You shat yourself in awe.
it sounds more beautiful when you put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it awkward for you then, or do you think everybody sort of acknowledged it and understood?
It was awkward for the first 10 seconds
Yeah.
because I was around people I knew.
Yeah.
And
In
it
a
was kind of
safe
fun-
space.
It was
in a
kind
way.
of funny, really.
Yeah.
I
I think
mean, I was disappointed about it. It makes a nice anecdote.
it does, yeah, definitely. But I don't know. It's not awkward enough for me in a way. But it's a beautiful story, definitely. But I think if I was there then, I'd have been like, yeah, I could just have easily shat myself in this situation, definitely.
You could have easily shot yourself
Yeah, I don't know. If with Delhi Belly and
with Delhi Belly.
well, even without it, just in the magnificence of the Milky Way,
Yeah.
it might make anyone shit themselves, I suppose. There's probably stories a lot of astronauts have of getting into space for the first time and then instantly shitting themselves because of the shock of the situation and the awe of being in full view of space for the first time.
Well, that's insane, really, isn't it? Because you're exposed to almost half the world's population at that point.
I'd probably shit myself in space, definitely. That's probably why they wouldn't let me be an astronaut.
Yeah, that's
Because I'd keep on saying repetitively, I'm going to shit myself. I'm going to shit myself as soon as I go up there, instantly.
It sounds like the sequel to a really bad B movie. Shit myself in space.
Yeah, Apollo 13 sequel, Shit Yourself in Space. Yeah, they had all the funding to make that film and it came into production, but somehow it never came to fruition because people just couldn't quite do it, really.
It was just a routine check on the International Space Station when he shit himself.
Yeah, but yeah, that fantasy of mine about just saying something completely ruinous to your own social etiquette, I don't know why it's kept on coming back to me, but I can't even decide how I'd go about it and when the perfect time would be, but I might do it one day. I might just ruin everything for myself socially, because I think I'm constantly on the verge of that by being the person I am anyway. I think it's a final nail in the coffin, just saying something.
You've got an idea of the people that you work with and possibly an idea of how they would react
Yeah.
to that. Do you think that it will burn bridges? Do you think it will create bridges? Do you think it will raise concern?
I don't know. It'd
What
have
do you
to
think
be.
the outcome would be?
This is it. You have to, if you're going to do it, it has to be the absolutely perfect or most imperfect situation it could be, where the timing's perfect and what you said was perfect to just ruin everything for yourself. The point where people will never look at you the same way again. They'll just think, I always thought it was a bit weird. Now I know it's just so weird. We can't even have a conversation anymore because I'm just constantly aware of that moment when he did that, and it was horrible. It was horrible for himself and everyone else.
Yeah. It's almost like a power play, though.
Yeah,
The
in a
power's
way.
in your hands now.
Yeah, because you think, well, that'd do it. That'd finally do it, and then they'd leave me alone. There, finally. So after that subject, I think we probably need to go on something probably a bit lighter.
Well, I went out for a few drinks last night, and I didn't go overboard, but I mixed my drinks a little bit. I went to the local pub, and I woke up today feeling fucking rough. But after one of these Coronas, I'm feeling on top of the fucking world.
Well, Corona's a hot topic at the moment, obviously, and I was worried, as said before we started recording, that this coronavirus is in fact just a massive advertising campaign for the beer, and it's worked. It's worked already on us, hasn't it? Because we're enjoying them.
Yeah,
We've
we're
got
suckers for it.
a crate of 12 in, and it's nice beer. It's not a bad lager at all, really. Wedge of lime in there, brilliant. What could go wrong, apart from global death?
Yeah, I don't know how many it's killed so many people. I don't know how many you have to drink.
Yeah, presumably that's the problem, isn't it? It's that good that you'll drink yourself to death.
And we're drinking Corona Extra as well.
Yeah, so that's
We must
extra
be tough
death.
bastards.
Yeah.
We've got some wedges of lime as well that Tom's fucking pitifully cut up.
Well, no, I
Looks
thought
like
these
he
were
threw it.
better now. I mean, the first two that I cut were too big. Now these are the right size, aren't they? Or
They're the
two.
right size. It looks like you've thrown it at the wall about 15 times.
It's not an easy fruit to cut, lime, is it? Really? You gave up on it yourself, so. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to discuss is the idea of how long it would take humanity to start fighting again after it had united against the common threat, which would include the coronavirus, I suppose, or an alien invasion, if you want to. I don't really want to get into aliens, though, to be honest. I think it's too heavy a subject. But, yeah, humanity as you know it, how long do you think it'd take?
To break down.
No, to reunite.
To
No, sorry.
after a catastrophic
No,
event.
yeah, you're right. They're right the first time. Yeah, break down again after it had worked together.
Break down again. So we've got a catastrophic event. Everybody comes together. I see, yeah, because it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
So with global warming, I can imagine that if the sun's rays get even more intense, we all start basically baking to death on the surface of the earth.
Yeah.
Everyone will huddle together. We'll start building underground.
Yeah, little places to live underground.
Places to live, and I think once it's complete, I think that's when the breakdown would happen. I think.
Yeah, instantly, probably.
Yeah, once you've got free time again, then that's when the breakdown happens.
As soon as you've got free time, yeah. Just long enough to remember all the people that you don't like, all the things that you don't like about other people in the world, despite the fact you've worked together for so long. As soon as you're in a calm enough environment and it's all settled, you instantly remember that as a Jewish man, you hate Muslim men, or vice versa, or if you're Catholic, you hate Protestants instantly because you're in your safe zone. Probably so, yeah.
I think it's going to be a survival situation, isn't it? So in survival, it's all about one direction. But as soon as that survival instinct alleviates the tiniest little bit, like you said, I'll remember that Bob, my neighbour, once nicked my fucking black bin for the weekend and filled it full of shit. That'll come back, and then that'll be the beginning of the end again.
Yeah, I do think it's impossible for us to work together for too long, isn't it, really?
Yeah, we're very fickle animals.
Yeah, terrible things, really. But
And I think that's the key word, we are animals.
Yeah.
We seem to think that we're this superior thing that's separated, but we're not. We're still tied to the piss-poor evolutionary choices.
Yeah, unfortunately so. I think
And imperfections.
most sort of natural disasters and things that are threatened, if you had an asteroid hit and it wiped out a massive percentage of the population, and that brought people together, I think that would be probably longer lasting, and you'd think we have to work together for longer now because there's so many of us wiped out, there's very little of us left, there's no point fighting because Christ is this, we have to make do with what we've got. So it depends on the circumstances of why you're united in a way, doesn't it? I think, an asteroid collision is one. If an alien race attacked and it was hostile and it took all of our efforts and all of our military efforts to wipe that out, that would probably bring us together for a fair while, you would have thought. You think, well,
yeah,
look at what we accomplished there.
But you're always going to get them fucking liberals, aren't you? Just going, well, we could have given them a chance.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And
when you
then
look
that's
at
when the
that.
fractures begin.
Yeah,
But again, you brought up population. I think if there's a very small population, they're more inclined to stay together in a tight knit unit.
yeah.
Whereas if you've got quite a few people, then you're more likely to see.
Yeah, it depends on numbers more than anything else, doesn't
But
it?
I think those
suppose?
numbers are very small.
Yeah.
I think any more than about 4, then you start fracturing off into tribes.
Yeah, yeah. Englishman, Irishman, and Scottishman walk into a bar after the apocalypse and instantly start fighting each other.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that'd probably be one of the first buildings that gets built as well. A fucking bar.
Yeah, I wonder what the first pub was, because if you look at archaeology and things like that, pubs have been around as long as people have been around. Alcohol, as we know it, has probably been one of the earliest substances we've come and found, hasn't it?
Mm.
So pubs were an institution, like prostitution, I suppose. In terms of the Bible, alcohol was there. Jesus was presumably turning water into wine, or so he said anyway. You know.
Well, I don't think his wine's as good as mine.
No, I
Saying
would
that,
agree.
Just
Yeah.
to again, sorry, I keep digressing these these.
No, it's
the
important.
subjects. This bag fucking stinks because it's been under the stairs for about 2 years. But brought some of
Oh,
the
brilliant.
last bottle.
Which one's that one?
That's dandelion.
Oh, brilliant!
Wine.
Yeah, it's following on from the first episode, the
Um,
dandelion wine.
Yeah. So it's 9.45%, but I'm pretty sure that's fucking wrong
Well, I'm excited.
because
Maybe we'll have a glass at some point today, I suppose.
yeah,
It's a lot of day drinking going on today because I think I picked up Nathan around 12 o'clock and we started recording probably about 1:30, and we're drinking Corona. There's wine involved now. There's even more beer in the fridge, so what? Get over
and
it.
ciders as well,
Oh, and ciders, yeah.
and fucking Tom's god awful wedges of lime.
Would you put those any of those in the wine, the wine and lime?
Wine, is that a song? Wine and lime.
It could be if you want to make it.
Oh, I can't remember the artist now.
Wine. What are you thinking of? Wine and lime.
The song is called "Wind and Grind"
Right.
by Buster
Rhymes, maybe. I
Possibly.
don't know.
It's a real good song.
It sounds familiar, yeah.
It's,
Wine and lime. Wine. It wouldn't be that bad, would it, if you had some lime in your dandelion wine?
I think it'd go. Yeah.
I might find out at some point.
It's, but yeah, I do like that combination of words, wine and lime. Yeah, I think
Is that
sing that with some steel drums.
whiskey and rye? Is it whiskey and rye? Singing "This'll Be the Day That I Die."
What's rye though?
Rye, it's like rye Vita, isn't it? It's like it's in rye Vita. It's
Whiskey and biscuits.
yeah, no, it's some kind of it's like a grain, isn't it? Rye. You have it in beer. There's a lot of rye
Like
beers.
wheat. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I always thought it was like wheat. Yeah,
So whiskey and rye.
that's the lyric, isn't it? Singing "This'll Be the Day That I Die."
We make whiskey out of grains,
Yeah.
but I don't see where whiskey and rye come in.
No,
Unless
I
the
don't.
whiskey's made from rye,
Yeah.
which is perfectly feasible because whiskey
It's
is made
maybe
from
there's a
grains.
spirit that's predominantly rye. Funnily enough, Jack Daniels I think it was Jack Daniels. Yeah, just came out with its own rye whiskey just before Christmas.
All right, so like a pure grain.
Yeah.
Rye whiskey.
Yeah. But the lyric is drinking whiskey and rye, singing "This'll Be the Day That I Die," because I always thought it was whiskey and wine, but it wasn't until recently when I bought home a can of Tyskie and a bottle of wine, and thought that was funny, and it sounded a lot like the lyric. That I then googled the lyric and found out it's whiskey and rye.
So you're fully admitting that you've been singing that wrong.
Whiskey
for-
and wine, yeah, for years, yeah.
Yeah.
The laughing stock of every karaoke affair that I've taken part in.
How angry do you think Don McLean would be if you actually told him that face to
You
face?
did well to remember that. Christ, I had no idea who sang that song at all until I googled that. Yeah, he'd probably be furious. Yeah, I hope he'd be furious, but only because so many people made the same mistake.
On the subject of talking about wrong lyrics, this is fucking brilliant. It's slightly embarrassing, really. It was really fucking embarrassing at the time. I went to Leeds to see a band called Billy Talent. We're talking back 2006, 2005, 2006. So it's just like absolute teeny bopper, you know.
Yeah, they must have been the height of their fame probably at the time. They were probably quite big, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah. They're still going now.
Yeah.
I think they've been through like peaks and troughs in popularity, but back then they were the dog's bollocks. So there was headlining at a city in the city called Leeds, at a place called aptly named the Cockpit.
Oh yeah.
Which somebody pointed out, it sounds a bit like a gay club.
It does a bit, yeah.
And
a pit of cocks.
Yeah, the Cockpit. A real cool place there. It's under a bridge, a train bridge.
Yeah, I roughly know where it is. Yeah, it's not far away from the train station, isn't it? Or am I thinking of somewhere else?
It's a walk away from the train station.
Yeah,
it's not too far. I don't know if it's still open.
No, I don't.
It was a pit. There wasn't much cock in there.
No, that's disappointing, really.
If that's what you was going for.
Yeah.
But anyway,
imagine being a gay man and turning up there. well, this isn't what I imagined at all. I'm really, really quite pissed off about this. And then writing a horrible Google review.
Yeah. A TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor, yeah.
What's this one-star TripAdvisor review?
Another sour gay man. Oh, for God's sake, we really ought to change the name.
So, anyway, watching Billy Talent, and by this point I'd listened to the songs a few times, thought I knew all the lyrics. So I'm up at the front, giving it big uns, screaming. Obviously it's shoulder to shoulder because it's right at the front of a gig. So I am basically, my mouth is very close to other people's ears.
Right.
And I'm giving it full lungs, giving up, the lyrics. And there was a few days later I realised, I actually looked up the lyrics and realised that for two of the songs, which I thought I knew through and through, I didn't know at all.
Yeah.
And I was screaming the wrong lyrics.
At full volume.
And I know it's a loud place, but there was at least three people around me that kind of knew.
Did any of them say anything or look at you in any way? Or...
Well, when the puzzle pieces fall into place.
Yeah.
And like when somebody turns around and looks at you like you're a fucking idiot, but you don't know why.
Yeah.
You're just is it the music? Is it the anger in the music?
Yeah. Did I step on someone's toes? What have I done?
Yeah, did I knock into you?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, fuck you, dickhead. But
wow.
Those looks were probably because I was screaming the wrong lyrics.
Yeah. That's happened to me actually many, many years ago, under 18's Welly. I was singing along to Rage Against the Machine at the time, and I can't remember what song it was. It was a song off the first album, I think. And I was singing as loud as I could the wrong words, and I remember someone a little bit older than me going, yeah, you're singing the wrong words, and it made me feel tiny, absolutely tiny. And since then I've never got a lyric wrong ever in my life apart from Whiskey and Rye, which that was a bit embarrassing.
So this chap that came up to you in Welly, was he sensitive about telling you?
No, he didn't hesitate at all. He told me straight away, those aren't the lyrics. And it was funny really, because it's not the person I expected to do that sort of thing, but he obviously felt passionate enough about the music. He later became some notorious chav. He took a real turn, that guy. He was just one of us at under 18's Mosher Welly, and then the next thing I knew, he was wearing tracksuit bottoms and selling drugs on the street. So
that's quite a transition, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really sudden as well. It's almost like he said that I've had enough of this. I've always rejected who I am inside. I am a chav.
I like Rockport. I like Adidas.
Yeah. I've always been shy about it, but I'm gonna go for it now. So I am.
Well, I hope he feels free in his new.
Yeah, I don't hope anything for him now. Really, I think to take that sudden turn, it was quite shocking at the time, and I couldn't care less about him now, if I'm honest. I have to pause it a sec. Sorry. Peace.
Pause in.
We got through.
Welcome back. Tom's been for a piss. We don't actually know what we've been talking about.
We've ruined everything, and this is why it's not a good idea to drink heavily whilst recording. But you know, we'll overcome that. I believe in us. It'll be fine. But for the life of me, I can't remember what the hell we were talking about at all. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Maybe we should get some of them, like shiwis, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe
We should just sit and piss ourselves, to be honest. I think that'll be fine. Next one, I want to do it just stood outside, I suppose, and we'll just be naked. And we'll just piss into the wind. And I'll just be like, the podcast. Just pissing in the wind. Yeah, which could be the name for it as well, actually, yeah. Piss in the Wind with Tom and Dave.
Bit of a life philosophy, pissing into the wind, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you want to talk about Greg Wallace at all? Have you seen him recently? Is he...
I don't know him personally. I know him through the TV.
You say that, but he could invade your home at any point. He's one of those characters, isn't he?
Oh, Christ.
Where the world holds no limits for Greg Wallace. He could be coming at you, any minute of any given day.
He does that show, doesn't he? You are what you eat?
Yep.
Or is it that the name of the
I think
show?
so, yeah, that sounds about right.
Where he basically comes round and says, you're buying shit that's too expensive.
Yeah, you're eating human flesh.
Yeah, buy Tesco's value. That's basically what the premise of the show is.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid, really.
It's just another excuse for him to come and just act like a twat and tell people they're wrong about everything and make him feel better. Because that's the only thing he does constantly. He's the most abrasive personality that TV has seen since, well, I don't know, Piers Morgan had given him a good run for his money.
Piers Morgan outclasses him in terms of being a twat.
But at the same time, I think Piers, as much as I don't like him, allows people to be themselves a little bit more than Greg Wallace.
Yeah. I just want to throw Katie Hopkins in there as well. We're not
that's
sexist,
a tough one, yeah.
You know.
To get her included. Did you hear about the award ceremony that she went to?
Yes. I was hoping you'd seen it because I can't remember the name of the award that they give her.
I can't remember, but all that matters is behind her was the word cunt.
Yeah, so the acronym of the award was CUNT.
It's the fact that they flew her all the way to Prague as well. How did they convince her? It was quite alarming, really, because it was some YouTuber, wasn't it? I think it was just some guy in his probably early 20s that convinced her. He planned the whole thing.
He got some actors, got them all around a table in a swanky suite.
It looked like quite a nice place that they'd booked to do the event, wherever it was in Prague. I think it was Prague, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So they'd obviously put a lot of effort into it, and a lot of money was spent for this one shot of the word cunt behind Katie Hopkins and her gladly accepting an award, which is fantastic.
Well, the best thing is you watch it all the way through, and obviously as the watcher you know that she's been duped and it's all fake, and then you see her get up to get the award and then it flashes up on the presentation behind cunt. And you kind of feel a little bit sorry for her. But then she has the audacity to do her own speech and a thank you for the award. And the amount of racist and vile crap that just falls out her mouth.
I haven't seen that, to be honest. That sounds just like her, though, really. I'm not surprised in any way. Just to sort of own the situation and make it her own and turn into the biggest cunt she can find herself capable of being. No, because it's only a real short video I've seen of the award ceremony. She gets up, I didn't see her give a speech or anything. But
you've not seen it start to finish?
No, I've only seen...
It's well worth a watch.
Yeah.
Just watch a clip of it.
Yeah, she looked delighted to receive the award, and obviously was sort of completely ignorant to what was going on at the time. But brilliant.
Yeah, she just went into a torrent of racial slurs, and it was...
Why?
It was awful.
What the hell has
Awful.
race got to do with that situation? How did she even... Christ. It just never ceases to be the worst person ever.
What is more annoying is how she is still like a shit tier celebrity. How is she a celebrity?
Explain.
We have more input to the human civilization doing this podcast than
Yeah.
Katie Hopkins has ever had.
I don't know.
Yet, why aren't we?
It's a conundrum, isn't it? You have to,
Celebrities.
for some reason, there's this need for the most controversial characters. There always has been, and you need some absolute fucking arsehole to be there all the time, or an abundance of them. In fact, it's not just one in every few years. There's always a current of arseholes popping up all the time because people for some reason just like to listen to them. I suppose it's, in a way, it's to cancel out all the good. You think, well, we couldn't just have all the things that make sense and are agreeable. We have to have people who are just obtuse for being obtuse's sake, because it just adds more spice to life. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've got to cater for all demographics, and Katie appeases some people.
If everyone's in common agreement that she's fucking awful, I mean, even people on the far right of politics must go, I can't stand this fucking cunt. I can't stand her anymore. She's just horrible for the sake of being horrible.
She's too much for the EDL.
Yeah, even Tommy Robinson wouldn't invite her to a party.
Good yell, Katie, calm down.
Yeah, it's too much. Because, I don't know.
I watched a good film about far right. It was neo-Nazi bands, and this band goes to play at this place out in the middle of nowhere, and they're all neo-Nazi bands, they're all racist in the crowd and stuff. And this one band, they don't realise this, and they cotton on pretty quick what the whole crack is. So when they get up, they change their set a little bit, and they go against these stupid ideas, and then it kind of turns into just like an absolute murder fest in this club, because they don't want this band to leave, because they're now aware of this, of what they're doing there.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of turns into some cheesy B movie. It's well worth a watch. It's really good. So you've got these racists, you've got this band that's stuck in the green room, and all these neo-Nazis trying to basically kill them.
For some reason I pictured it like an episode of Scooby-Doo where the band's running around from corridor to corridor and all the racists are chasing after him. And
that is one of the scenes in it. It's one of the scenes in it.
Brilliant. Yeah. Imagine doing that. Imagine turning up to a gig and not knowing it's full of fucking neo-Nazis and being unpleasantly surprised about that. That's one of the worst gigs you're probably ever going to book, isn't it, really, I suppose?
Yeah. I stumbled across it just out of pure
chance.
interest. As a band called Screwdriver.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Well-known racist band.
Well-known racist band. And there's a chap, I don't know if he was in the band or affiliated with the band, but I thought I'll search for him, because you go on Wikipedia, you look at all the band members, the past band members, and search for one of them, and he must be in his 50s, and he's at this show, quite recent, within the past few years, over in somewhere in Europe, where they're still hosting this crap,
Yeah.
And this dude still, it must be about 50, and he's on his acoustic guitar, doing some racist numbers. And I'm like, how committed do you have to be?
Acoustic guitar, so it's like a chilled out little gig, an intimate little thing that he's put together. Just me, the guitar, and a little bit of racism. Just gonna really get down to basics. Give the fans what they want. Christ alive. So the Screwdriver's still on the go, because that was a while ago. I heard of them.
I don't think they are.
No.
I don't think they are. I can't. You'd have to check.
I hope one of them took a load of acid one day, and then it just sort of came to some kind of sense where he thought, do I need to be this horrible anymore? Maybe I could just do something else.
That's what you think, though. As you get older, you get more chilled out. You get more relaxed.
But you don't.
You're less about pushing the envelope of being woke. You've been there. You've done that.
Yeah. I think who cares anymore? But it doesn't work that way, though, does it? Racism, for some reason, manifests itself later in life and gets worse and worse for some people anyway. It's like people 50 and above suddenly become racist because they've lived this fairly sheltered life, or some of them may have done, where they're so used to their own near vicinity, they think, well, these are the only people that matter. These white people that I know, or the I don't know, they don't have to be white, but British people or wherever you're from, that's all that matters. And anybody else who comes over here, they're an invasive thing, and they're horrible. I don't trust them. It's I don't know. It's a natural progression for some people.
Well, you've got to factor in culture as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by the time, give it 20, 30 years' time, we might be inadvertently racist.
Yeah, I hope so.
As everything changes, as the society changes, and what's acceptable and what isn't
racism
acceptable
becomes
changes.
cool.
Yeah.
I think it's everyone's doing it. So.
I mean, this might be explicit content in 20 years' time.
Yeah, I imagine it probably will be somehow, some way.
We might be only allowed to talk about nice things.
The PC police will be a real thing, won't they? And they'll come round and
like
just,
the Gestapo.
Yeah, every half an hour they'll knock on the door and just check what you're talking about. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure things are still on an even keel. Have you discussed cupcakes at all? Because they're nice. Have you tried that? That's a nice subject to bring up. Tea cozies, they're also quite nice if you want to bring them up. just a few suggestions, really. Just as the PC police, that's our job to do that, really.
It'd change the face of BBC News, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just talking about cupcakes.
Just nice things, please. That's all we care about.
Interview somebody with the most strained smile ever. Just absolutely vacant eyes.
Someone who's bleeding out of the smile. Oh, Christ.
Well, what a well to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Just pause it there. I'm going to go for another piss.
Tom's off for another piss. How many you had? You've only had one corona, haven't you?
Yeah, I've broken the seal, no.
Is that one of the symptoms of it?
Yeah, I presume so.
And we're back.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to be pretty drunk soon because I'm on little to no food for the day. I woke up fairly early this morning. This is after coming off night shifts, and all I've eaten today is a bowl of bite-sized Weetabix. So I've gone from that to a massive pile of booze. So if I start to deteriorate and sound like I'm talking complete nonsense, then that's why. I can't explain what it's like.
That's the beauty of this podcast. Maybe that is the niche. It's just your descent every episode. It's your descent into absolute and utter madness.
That's the aim of the game, really. But if they get steadily worse episode in, episode out, then brilliant.
Maybe we should call it Nirvana, because by the end, you've ideally hit Nirvana after each and every
via
episode.
drunken means?
Yeah.
There's probably a way, isn't there? If you try and make as much sense as possible whilst getting pissed out your face, then you'll hit Nirvana, yeah. That's a nice idea. I like it.
So since you've been on night shifts and your sleeping pattern is out of sync, we started quite early, so we're only on 2:30 in the afternoon. Does that mean that your bedtime is about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning?
Normally, yeah. Because my shift pattern's a bit awkward, I have days off in between nights. So you'd be awake all night because you think, well, it's pointless getting out of sync with being awake at night. I'll just be awake all night. I know that people do it differently, but I just think, sod it, I'm just awake all night and that's it. But now the night shifts are coming to an end, I'll be going back on days on Tuesday. You have to try and do your best to sort of get back to normality a bit.
Yeah, to shift to that.
So on Friday, first day off, you don't give yourself enough sleep, which is what I did do. And I went to sleep Friday night fairly early, or early-ish, and I've woken up today at a good time. But you think that all sounds alright, but you're still not quite right within yourself. Your body's sort of adjusting to the fact that you're awake during the day, even though now-ish is about the time I would normally wake up in between nights. So it's a bit awkward, but you force yourself into it and you get around to it, and it's not too bad. But
well, you're looking well.
good.
You're looking positive.
Yeah.
You've got a good skin complexion.
Yeah, for some reason I keep flaring up in some kind of weird blush.
Maybe it's this corona.
Maybe it's the coronavirus, yeah. You drink more of it and it just takes hold of you.
I was going to say, I mentioned at the start that I've already built up a tolerance by having the wee Brexit celebrations yesterday. So I'm in a good space. I'm in a good place.
How much did you drink last night?
Enough to get pissed.
Enough
Enough to feel slightly rough this morning. But that, like I say, that first Corona, I'm straight out of starting blocks.
Hair with the dog in it. Where do you reckon hair of the dog came from? What's the etymology behind that?
Somebody told me.
Someone licked a dog, do you reckon? Do you think?
Possibly.
Someone had a really bad hangover and licked a dog, and then it solved everything.
Hair of the dog. Eating hair is disgusting, though.
It is, yeah. It's not hair as in hair, though, is it? I always thought it was. No, in fact,
I don't know. Rabbit.
Yeah, like HARE. I don't know where I'm getting that from, though. I think that just might have been someone wrote it and misspelled it.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was hair as in like the hair that you have on your head.
Yeah.
Up until you're about
That'd
40.
make more sense, wouldn't it? Because hair of the dog as in hair, the animal, confuses the matter even more so, doesn't it?
Maybe stroking a dog like alleviates the stress of a hangover, and then it's just naturally progressed onto, instead of stroking the animal, you just have some more drink.
You'd say fair, wouldn't you? You'd say fair of the dog.
Fair of the dog.
Or would you? That sounds worse now that I've said it out loud. I can't make any sense of that situation at all.
Yeah, it's a
hurting my head.
one, that. It's quite interesting etymology, though.
Yeah, it's probably one that's really dissatisfying when you get to its origin. Some idiot said it in America in the 1950s and it caught on. Because that's what I found out about the phrase shooting yourself in the foot, which has been one that I've brought up a lot of times in the past to people, to little avail and to no interest whatsoever. So much so that I thought I'd bring it up in this podcast. When people say shooting yourself in the foot, for a long time I've always thought it was wrong, because they're using it as if to say you've done something deliberately or not deliberately.
I'd take it as accidental.
Yeah, the most
that
common use is that it's an accidental thing that you've done
that's not beneficial to you whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, you've shot yourself in the foot there, you've ruined that for yourself. But originally, I think its origins are in the First World War, where soldiers would actually purposefully shoot themselves in the foot to get out of duty.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could completely be that.
So that's a different meaning altogether then, isn't it? Because you think, well, you've done that deliberately to get yourself out of that situation. Like, you've gone and cheated on your girlfriend and then intentionally let her find out about it to end that relationship. You've shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah. So that changes the usage of it.
Yeah, but having Googled it, it changed its meaning to what we know it as now, around the 1950s in America, where people said it was an accident, and soldiers sometimes did shoot themselves in the foot, even during the war, and that was just one of those things. You've ruined the situation, you've shot yourself in the foot. So it took on a dual meaning, but I think the later meaning's overridden the first one, and so if you tried to use it in its original terms now and said, I've shot myself in the foot there because I've got out of the situation that I didn't want to be in, people wouldn't understand it as that.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. But it's not annoying, it's annoying for me.
Would you like to bring both meanings back, or would you like to bring the original meaning back?
I'd like it to come back as its original form, because I think, not because I'm a massive advocate of the First World War, but I suppose it just makes more sense in a way. Well, to some people it might not. Shooting yourself in your foot deliberately.
You know what it sounds to me, Tom? If you want the old phrase back and the old meaning back, if that is the old meaning, because we've not verified it as of yet, but that is, as I assume as you get older, we get into this mindset of the good old days. And do you think that's what's maybe...
No, I just think I'm a weirdo. I think when it comes to the English language, it's one of the only things that really matters to me. It's the only thing I can be really petty about all the time, but not even that well, because I'm no linguist or anything like that. But you know, when people make mistakes and it's glaringly obvious, I can't let it go. It's always bothered me. So that encompasses phrases that are in common everyday use and then being used in the wrong way. But shooting yourself in the foot has come up so much over the years, and every time I was always thinking. It comes down to my dad, actually. My dad was one of the first people who mentioned it. The first person who used it and explained what it meant to me. So it's always stuck with me that that's what it meant. And then when I heard it from other people and they were using it in different ways.
So your old man told you the original version of it?
Yeah.
Which is different to how we use it now?
No, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And because he's like me and he always he holds a lot of value to the use of the English language, I always use him as the source of a lot of these things. So I do think for some reason it holds more weight with me, mainly because of my dad, but also because I think people are using a phrase too much for something that doesn't necessarily mean what they think it means.
Yeah. There's quite a few words that people don't use in the correct context.
Yeah, I think
plethora is one of them.
Plethora,
yeah.
Because I know that to be a collection of stuff. Is that not right?
It probably helped if I read the meaning of the word before actually saying it. But people use it as a collection of stuff, but it's not a collection of stuff. It's from memory. I think it's that you've got so much of something that you're unable to cope with it.
Oh, okay.
So if you've got a plethora of something, you've got way too much of it.
Yeah, I see.
So whereas people generally use plethora as it's a collection of something.
Yeah,
so it's actually the wrong context.
You've got too much of stuff.
But it is the most empowering thing. Telling somebody that they're using the word in the wrong context.
It is, yeah. It shuts people down.
It's a massive power play.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Because people don't know what to do with themselves.
No.
It stops everything dead. Time, everything. You say, if I turn around to you, Tom, you've used that word in the wrong context.
I'd kill myself.
And to make it even worse, I don't even tell you what it actually means.
You just leave. You just walk out the house instantly. Yeah, there's no better put down really in a way. But
even with that expression that you've brought up, to shoot yourself in the foot, that's another kind of stop you in your tracks, where you could be doing your job perfectly fine, and somebody comes up to you and he says, "You shot yourself in the foot there, mate," and just walks off. How fucking annoying would that be?
Yeah, that would really get to me actually. Like, no, because that doesn't mean what you think it means. Except it does. Except it doesn't. Except it does.
Yeah.
Can't decide.
Other one who's got egg on your face.
Yeah, that's one that's used quite a bit, isn't it? How did that come about? I wonder. Someone probably got egg on their face. I thought, you look like a fucking idiot there.
You would have thought so, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably quite a simple
one.
There's
probably a lot of people that have had egg on their face, but how is it that one person that has sparked off such a...
Some really popular chef who everyone just hung on his every word. It's like, what did you say the other day? You've got egg on your face, mate. And he meant that you look like an idiot. And I thought that was hilarious. And I've started saying it to all my mates. Weird. It's weird how phrases come about and things become popular.
It's always... there's a term for it as well. Like the euphemism treadmill or something.
That sounds good. Euphemism treadmill.
It's this idea that words always circulate and come back round.
Yeah.
It happens quite a lot in mental health. So initially you had like retard, which that's long gone. That is not in popular use whatsoever. So back in the Victorian era, that was a completely and legitimate scientific term.
Yeah.
It's like you have an IQ below a certain threshold of what we've decided, you are a retard. And it's out of use because it's used as a derogatory.
Yeah,
a derogatory
eventually people who are less able decided they didn't like being called retard anymore. But I'm sure there was something before retard, wasn't there?
There's quite a few.
They've
given us quite a few from that era. I'm sure,
Yeah.
like idiot and
Yeah,
moron.
there's some of them that you wouldn't think were ever an acceptable term, but they were. I think spaz might have even been one of them, so believe it or not.
I think that's a recent one that's fallen out of favour as well.
Yeah.
Because Scope, don't quote me on it, but Scope, the charity, used to be called the Spastic Society, and they've changed of name to Scope.
Yeah, Christ.
So again, there we go, the euphemism treadmill.
Yeah.
It continues. Now we just call people special, I believe.
This is a subject that's come up a lot for me because I saw a Doug Stanhope stand-up routine where he brings up the subject and basically says the same thing as you, that different words have come in and out of use over the years, and eventually we'll get to the point where you have to say a full paragraph instead of a word to sum up someone. But depending on the company, you'll try and bring it up and people instantly shut you down. I did it at a party not so long ago, probably about a year ago, and I think it was to a teaching assistant or someone within a teaching realm. Instantly shut me down and was like, no, I'm not having it, you just don't say that word, and that's as simple as that's it. And I was thinking, no, but I know you're saying that, and I'm not campaigning for the use of the word, I'm not trying to bring it back. I'm just saying once upon a time it was an accepted term, but she wouldn't have any of it. She's like, no, you just don't say it, no, I don't want to hear it. Instantly dismissive. And presumably as a teacher who might work with some disabled children or something like that, she's quite nervous of these things. So instinctively she just rejects them in every aspect of her life.
Yeah.
You know, no matter where she is, she can't talk about these things.
Well, the more you think about something, the more you accidentally make like a slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
So if she's heard it at a party, then it might be sat there in the subconscious, and it might come out.
Yeah, I understand.
In the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, she's probably doing the right thing.
When you're doing your word searching, when you're saying, "Oh, little Timmy's," and then it just slips out, retarded.
Yeah, to her parents in her parents' evening. I mean, after all, he's retarded. Oh Christ! Oh fucking hell! Yeah.
And that goes back to what you were saying earlier about being in a situation where. How the hell would you get out of that one?
I don't. Yeah, imagine
There's no way out. There is no exit. There's no exit plan.
Say it again,
the only
louder, and again and again. Because he's a retard. He's a retard. Until eventually everyone in the room's looking at you, and then they go, "That's it. I quit my job. I hate you all," and that's that.
Yeah.
It's the only way to deal with it in that situation.
I still think that the reversal of it is always a good bet as well. So if you accidentally say, oh, little Tim is a retard, and you, bloody hell, but you just blame the parents for it. You made me say it.
Yeah.
I always feel that's a good guy. I mean, you've got to go in with a hell of a lot of conviction. Once you've started, there's no backing out. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry about that. Sorry, it's not really my fault though. If I'm honest, it's I know it's not a word.
The sincere explanation.
Yeah. It's not a word that I wanted to say, but it's the pressure of the situation that you've put me in, and because of the way you're looking at me and everything about this situation and little Jimmy himself, it's not my fault. The word was on my tongue. You know, who knows the way the human brain works, but really, you put those thoughts there. You
put those thoughts into my head.
Christ.
What I was going to say about, since from the subject of retard as it's still used today in a very specific context. So retard means to slur, right? Which is probably why it's quite a derogatory term. To call somebody slur. Yeah. It's real derogatory. The only context that I know that they use it in is a specific aircraft. So the Airbus A380, I believe. Don't know my aeroplanes that well. But it has an automatic voiceover when you come into land. So this is an absolutely huge plane. I think they're like double-decker planes. So when you come into land, this absolute beast of a plane, it will tell you how far away from the runway you are. And it'll start, I think, about 100 metres. So it'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, and then it'll keep going down. And then as soon as the wheels hit the runway, it will go retard, retard, retard. And what it means is to basically kill the throttle on the aircraft.
That's brilliant. I remember you telling me that before, and I'm glad that you've brought that up again.
It's even better listening to it
yeah,
when
the actual live proper recording. Yeah, imagine that in your pilot training. The first time it comes up, and then your trainer's just sat there looking at his stern face, like, and remember, retard.
I think the best thing if he didn't tell you, if you're in a simulator, and then he turns around and you just get this voiceover, retard, and then your instructor just turns around and goes, "You failed, mate." Machine says you failed.
Throughout your training, you'd heard it 1,000 times and took it to mean what you thought it meant, and then suddenly it means something completely different. Brilliant.
But yeah, etymology is interesting if you're into linguistics. And
it is, yeah. It's funny how things catch on, isn't it, really? But most of the time it's for terrible reasons, and the words lose meaning quite quickly, and nobody knows what they're talking about, because most people are terrible. I won't go into that.
What about the creation of new words?
That's terrible as well, because most of them mean something completely unnecessary these days. We've got enough words as it is, so if you're trying to force more words in, it's usually for illegitimate reasons, really. It's bollocks. Like, words like ream come about via transport such as The Only Way is Essex, and you think, well, what the hell does ream mean? It just means cool. Joey Essex of The Only Way is Essex fame is the one who made that popular, and I don't think it's really stuck around, but it was dangerously close to entering the dictionary at one point, no doubt. So this just goes to show that's what we've got left now.
You say this, Tom, but you're about to have egg on your face, and maybe we could say that you've shot yourself in the foot, because I believe that in the green room before we started recording that you have produced a new term.
I was well remembered that, Jesus. I do want to bring about my own catchphrase, which is wowzers trousers, which is something I coined at work the other day, and I'm hoping to use that on a daily basis. But unfortunately I've already forgotten about it, so it's probably not going to stick with me. But wowzers trousers is something you can say in most situations, really, isn't it? Like, oh, someone just finished talking about what they've got to say. Wowzers trousers.
Yeah, I think you should use it carefully though.
Yeah.
If somebody's talking about, the passing away of the nan, you don't want to roll in with wowzers trousers.
Yeah, and she was only 79. Wowzers trousers.
Everything's all right.
Yeah, because it sounds friendly in a way.
You say it sounds friendly, but it seems one of them phrases that you would say quite enthusiastically, but you say it quite deadpan.
Depends on the person, doesn't it? If you're sort of one of these people who can't pull off a phrase like wowzers trousers, then don't use it. But, you have to approach it delicately. Wow is one that provokes shock. Like, oh, wow, that happened. But wowzers somewhat dilutes it somehow, in my mind at least. Wowzers trousers. And I like it enough to keep on using it anyway, and hopefully other people will too.
It's good.
Wowzers
I think it's
trousers.
definitely scalable.
I don't know where it came from as well. Creativity is a funny thing in a way that you just don't know how it grabs you and how it comes to you. That was one of those moments that really hit me.
It's usually sleep deprivation, because sleep deprivation can bring on like symptoms of like hallucinations and stuff.
Yeah.
So did you come up with it during your night shifts?
You know what? It might have been. I don't know. But shift work's a funny thing, isn't it? You never know if you're quite sleep deprived or what. So I could have been on a day shift. It's hard to say, but yeah, sleep deprivation is one of those things that brings on creativity. Definitely, it's done it to me many a time, not for any good benefit in any way. You know, I think I'm really onto something and know what I'm talking about. But sleep deprivation's creativity isn't always the best creativity. You think, wow, my brain's racing through this madness, and I've got a lot to say here, but it's not always really what you want to write down. Unfortunately,
I think you might have started something. I think it's quite a therapeutic phrase.
yeah.
I think maybe you could use it within a therapeutic session.
What wowzers trousers are you talking about?
Yeah. Especially when you say it in your turn. I mean,
as a therapist, saying wowzers trousers to someone, you know, after they've broken down and told you about the dad bumming them, wowzers trousers would probably dial up the situation quite nicely, wouldn't it? Wow, yeah, so how did that feel then? Wowzers trousers. Yeah, I quite like the idea, really. I might approach the NHS with that, actually.
Yeah, get a copyright on it.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. Other ways that you could come about creative thinking: eating a lot of cheese and going to bed and having those weird dreams that you have on cheese dreams.
I've never really got cheese dreams.
Have you not?
No.
I think I have.
How much do you eat?
It usually needs to be quite late at night, just before you go to bed as well, I think.
Oh, so it's all about timing.
Yeah.
Would you say the different types of cheeses have any effect?
Maybe.
Effect?
I'd like to think so, yeah. It has to be a real strong, mature cheddar for your real potent dreams. Maybe. But then dreams don't necessarily lead to creativity, so that was one off the top of my head. But I can't think of other ways in which it comes about. How do you grab creativity if you're not naturally prone to it? But coffee is another one, actually. For some reason, I get a splurge of creativity or new enthusiasm for whatever I'm doing if I have a coffee.
Yeah.
Caffeine. You know.
Is it like a 20-minute window though?
Yeah, it's relatively short-lived. It's basically I just feel a bit more awake.
So you have to have everything set up, all your creative.
Yeah, I'm basically
the easel set up. And then you take your coffee.
Yeah, I'm stood there with a quill and an ink pot, and I have a coffee enema. And
then 20 minutes later, you've got a page saying "Wowzers trousers" on it.
That I've farted onto the page. Yeah, it's usually the way it works. There must be more ways in which you can get yourself... Well, alcohol, I suppose, is another one, isn't it? You think, I'll have a drink or two and then I'll get the creative juices flowing.
Quite a lot of writers use alcohol. Yeah, it evokes different emotional state, doesn't it?
Yeah. Absinthe is one of those that's got its history in the arts. I think...
That does actually cause hallucinations, though, doesn't
So
it?
they say, yeah. I mean, obviously, I've probably drank the shit quality stuff from fucking... where the hell did I buy it from? Tenerife, I think I bought some back from there. And Ibiza, I bought some back from there, I think, if not Corfu. So shitty little islands for British holiday goers aren't going to give you maybe the best quality absinthe. There's probably better stuff out there that might do that to you, but from what I know of absinthe, it's not going to do anything good to you.
Yeah.
But if it glows in the dark,
It's good stuff.
No, it's not. It's just full of chemicals and it's fucking shit. Whereas absinthe, the good absinthe, probably doesn't glow in the dark. It probably looks a bit cleaner and a bit more of a duller colour. I think they add a lot of fucking stuff to it for the broader markets to make it look exciting.
Yeah.
And they go like, oh well, it's fucking luminous green and it's absinthe, so I've heard of absinthe and it's that colour, I'll buy it and presumably I'll have a great time.
It's like fucking 90% alcohol in it.
It can go up to that, yeah, I think so. But like I say, in cheap holiday destinations for the British scumbag, I think you're probably going to get shit absinthe.
Well, I've seen people act pretty weird off absinthe.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know whether it's like a short, sharp... It's like going from being normal to like not drunk, but you get the disinhibition of being drunk.
Right.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So, but talking about absinthe, you fancy?
Have you put a bit of lime in there?
Dandelion. I haven't
Oh,
put
no,
a bit
sorry,
of lime
no,
in.
it was just the way it looked. Yeah, I'll have a little bit of your dandelion wine. I'll try it first without the lime to know how it tastes.
Ooh.
Cheers.
Definitely got that homebrew waft.
That is really nice. I don't know why I expected of dandelion wine, but that's definitely surpassed anything that I might have expected.
Oh, yeah, it's very
Yeah, it's
sweet.
pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Why is it that sweet? A dandelion's that sweet.
I don't know.
No.
I didn't eat one when I was making it. I've got no baseline to go off.
No, I suppose it's hard to say, isn't it? Have you done dandelion wine a few times in the past? Or
No, this is the
first one,
This is
right?
the first attempt.
Oh, fucking hell, that's another first, isn't it? That's exciting.
It's usually the like happy accidents though.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean the more you do a certain wine, the better it gets.
No.
It's just some years it's good, some years it's really fucking shit.
Yeah, that's really nice on its own. I don't think. How is it with the lime?
I don't know because I put the lime in straight away.
Right.
So
Let's put a bit of lime in there. Why not?
but if you guys want to make dandelion wine at home, all you got to do is pick some dandelions, put it in a tub.
Usually from a graveyard, I understand.
Graveyard are the best.
The best
The
dandelions,
best,
yeah.
Yeah. That was a bit of a trade secret, that. So, yeah, that's where you get your best dandelions from.
I think the lime helps it. I think because it's so sweet, having a bit of a sharp edge from the lime, yeah, that works really well, actually.
I don't understand why it's so sweet, because there's no sugar left in it.
No.
The yeast eats all the sugar, and you're just left with a sugarless
It is very
liquid
sweet
that's
for a
alcoholic.
wine, that, yeah.
Mm. Go well with cheese.
Yeah, it would. Is there anything you can think of as to why it might be that sweet? Is there anything you did differently
It might
to other
be.
wines?
No, it must be the dandelions. It must be an aspect of the dandelions.
Yeah, yeah.
You can get a sweet flavour from something that's not sugar.
Yeah,
So because it's yeast that eats all the sugar. So if there's no sugar left in it, it must be there's something else that is giving it that sweet taste.
Yeah, I mean, all I can think of is dandelion and bear doc's a fairly sweet drink, isn't it? So presumably it's not the bear doc part, it's the dandelion part.
Yeah.
I had a look at bear doc since the last podcast, and I think that's just another plant, isn't it?
I thought it was another plant.
Yeah. I was hoping it was the name of the man who invented it.
Yeah. Mr. B, Mr. Beardock.
Yeah, somehow.
Mr. Beardock and his dandelions.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna go for another water closet break. So, whilst going for a smoke on my wee little smoke break there, I've noticed you've got, which is quite uncommon, is a door that opens outwards.
Yeah.
The front door.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem sometimes. People come to the door and don't expect it to open outwards, and you instantly attack them with the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that is actually. It must be something to do with the porch, I think. I don't know. It was someone's great idea in the 1930s when the house was built, I think it was.
Yeah, back when they used to have PVC doors. Double glazing.
Sorry, yeah. In fact, yeah, you're right. Originally, the first door was the door that's now the second door. And so, why the first door now has to open outwards? Yeah, in fact, that's why, isn't it? Because the first door was the porch door originally, and that opens inwards. And then if you had the front door, what it is now, opening inwards as well, it would attack the porch door.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever used it in a defensive manner? So maybe British Heart Foundation come round to try and do
No, surprisingly not.
you
Actually,
aggressively open the door.
Yeah, it's a good idea, really. Yeah.
I donate blood, don't you know?
Yeah, I do donate blood. For anyone who doesn't know, I do save lives every 3 months or so.
What type are you?
Oh, negative, which is
that
quite
a rare
rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it basically means anyone's privy to my blood. Anyone can have it.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah.
Goes with your sharing and caring nature then.
It does,
Maybe
yeah.
why
That's what makes me
you've got
think.
a negative running through your veins.
Yeah.
Does a negative mean anything? Does it have any
I
influence,
don't know blood well
influence
enough.
on your personality at all?
Yes, it does, yeah. That's why I'm negative, yeah.
Do you have a positive?
I don't know if O positive's a type of blood. You would think it would be, wouldn't you? If you've got O negative, you should have O positive blood.
Yeah, I
But
don't know how they
I don't
categorise
know.
them out.
I
That's all.
don't know the mystery of blood at all. It's like wands in Harry Potter, I presume. The blood chooses the wizard. No, it doesn't. I don't know what I'm talking about at all. But
Isn't it the broom that chooses?
no, it's the
Is it the
wand.
wand?
No, yeah, it's the wand. Ask
I'll take your word for it.
Olivandre.
You look like a man that knows his Harry Potter.
Yeah, unfortunately I do. But we won't get into that anyway. But yeah, because I donate blood, I don't donate to any charities whatsoever. I'm saving a life every 3 months, so I don't need to give any money. I think that's more than a lot of people who donate money do.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know.
Who's to say?
It's a traumatic experience to go through, isn't it? To have to be decanted every month.
Every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I
fuck.
don't know how it works with blood. Like people always think, well, you can't donate it forever, can you? Because you run out of blood. It's not the way it works. Like, somehow you grow the blood cells back. I think I don't know. Yeah,
Well, you must do, otherwise you would be a shell of a
obviously.
man right now.
Yeah. I hope, for Christ's sake, that isn't the case, and that I'm not gradually depleting myself, and eventually I'll just die because of all the blood I've donated. That'll be a real pisser for me. But no, because I think
Just
like
come round one day and you look like a withered ball.
yeah, that would be really disappointing. But I don't know how blood reproduces itself. But that's for people in biology to know, and not me
Yeah.
to not pay any interest in.
That's science.
Yeah, it's a science, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to know.
Yeah, but I'm sure it'd be interesting. That's for another time, isn't it? Definitely.
So apart from blood, what else do you donate?
You can donate bone marrow, and that sounds like a really invasive, horrible procedure in which they scrape your bones, presumably. I don't know how you go about it, but from what I know of extracting bone marrow, you have to be put to sleep for it, for one thing, and it's just like, I think it probably is a surgery. It's a full-on thing where you might die. Well, you probably won't die, but it sounds really quite explicit and quite dangerous. Probably not dangerous, but still more than I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, giving blood's not a pleasant process, as you can imagine. You get a needle stuck in your arm, quite a big needle. But it's only for 5 minutes for me because I'm pretty good at donating blood. My blood expels itself at quite an alarming rate. And the last time I did it in December, I asked the nurse, said, is this quite fast? Is this, because I've seen other people sat nearby still donating as I'm about to leave. And she said, yeah, 5 minutes is pretty much one of the fastest rates we know of.
Yeah.
And I said, what's that down to? Is that down to general excellence, or what is it? Is it just I am really good, or what? And he said, well, it's just due to how hydrated you are more than anything else, which disappointed me quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I spat on the floor and threw a table over and left. Because I thought, for one thing, I'm giving you damn good blood that you can give to anyone, and I mean anyone. And for you to tell me that the rate in which I've expelled this blood isn't down to how brilliant I am is a massive smack in the face. So how dare you?
Do you think you're in world record territory?
That's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping she'd say. But no, she said around 5 minutes is the quickest we normally get it. As in, some people do manage around 5 minutes. It happens. So
so you're not necessarily unique.
No. But I don't know.
Think you're going to turn up one day and it's like we've got the boys from Guinness round.
Yeah. That's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I really, really wanted. I think I asked the wrong nurse though, because when she removed the needle from my arm, I think she flummoxed it somehow, because you need to sort of do it at the right speed to not shock your arm or something. I don't know. Somehow you can bruise the area in which the needle has been injected in the process of removing the needle and in the process of putting it in. It's quite a delicate thing. And she managed to bruise my arm in December quite badly. So she didn't know what she was fucking doing, and she didn't know what she was fucking talking about. My blood rate that I give it out at is fucking phenomenal, and I won't have it any other way. I'm right, and the men from Guinness can meet me next time I do it, and yeah, we'll have it out.
Since you've donated so many times, do you know the process of putting the needle in and taking it out? So could you walk in and literally grab the needle and just jam it in your arm?
Christ, no.
And just donate there and then, while staring at other people going, this is the height that I have reached.
Do you know who I am? I am the O negative of Hull. You know, I'm sure there's others out there, but there's not a lot of them. I'm the most well known, and not a lot of them are giving blood these days. You want to be thankful for me. Is the way I want it to go, but it probably won't. And I'll never get to the stage, like you say, of being able to put the needle in my own arm. As much as I'm not nervous around needles, I don't like it. It's not nice having it hanging out your fucking arm. Nobody would like that, apart from fucking freaks. I think the first time I donated blood, I was under the suspicion that a lot of the people who go there and do that are very lonely, strange people, because the attitude I got in reception to my first turning up to give blood was, "Why are you here? This is really weird." And it's like, I'm just a guy giving blood. It wasn't like I was like the rest of them who were sat there in anoraks and cardigans, shaking, all excited to give blood. I was just sort of fairly casual about it. But the impression I get is that a lot of them are really excited to do it, and they're really thinking that they're doing something great. But, well, I do actually think that as well, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I don't think I'm the typical blood donator, is what I'm trying to suggest.
More of an elite.
Yeah, I am an elite. Yeah, that's definitely what I want people to think.
You think you're the type of people that, well, maybe you get requests from like Wish.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, where children are terminally ill.
Yeah.
They're like, who do you want to meet? The Hulk, Captain America. It's no Mr. O negative.
Yeah, if I can get the title Mr. O negative, that'd be fucking fantastic. I'd love that. What was I going to say?
Just travelling around finding like car crashes and
I'll sort you out.
Decanting blood into people.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Would you wear a cape?
Probably so, yeah. Yeah.
Would you wear like really tight fitting, like spandex?
Yeah, do the whole thing, definitely. Go all out. If you're gonna be some kind of super blood man, I'm the Bob Geldof of the blood world. That's who I am. I don't know why it started happening. I mean, it's been years I've been doing this, and it's mostly like I suggested to you today, is that it excuses me from all other charities, and I'm that tight-fisted that I hate the idea of giving money to people. I really reject it. So giving blood is free, and I go and do it every 3 months, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thought that someone
I would agree with you. I think you're doing something, you're doing good. It doesn't always have to be donating money.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's voluntary work or like you're doing, giving blood.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, and you have to be careful with what charities you give money to anyway.
You do,
because a lot of them are such huge charities that your money might never actually see any grassroots usage whatsoever.
Yeah, which is a nasty thought, really. I'd like to give more money to the RSPCA. I mean, when I see that on a counter in a shop, the RSPCA thing that you drop pennies in, I feel guilty for only dropping pennies in, because I love animals, or I love cats and dogs more specifically, and going to the RSPCA down Clough Road is always a sad affair.
Well, the depressing thing about Clough Road is that they was trying to rebuild the kennels. So they already had kennels there, which were like just brick wall kennels, and they're trying to rebuild them. And as far as I'm aware, like some numbers that were coming out were like about 50-60 grand.
I think it's
like,
more than that. You
can buy like a 2 up, 2 down house.
Yeah.
For well, maybe not that price, but it is ridiculous. For
some reason
I don't know who's going over there and giving them quotes.
Yeah, fuck no, some arsehole, yeah. They got one quote from one guy, and he said, I don't know, £60,000, top of my head, and they took that to be verbatim, and that was it. But no, it probably is really fucking expensive to knock together a massive kennel that's going to house that many dogs and cats. But I feel really sorry for him. Mainly because, like I say, when I've walked around there, it's never nice. But this is the same in every dog and cat sanctuary. It's never a nice experience. But I suppose women sanctuaries that have just come out of abusive relationships are just as horrible, really. I think just because I've not been round them and had a look around. Imagine if you could do that. Imagine if you could go and have a look at a female refuge. That's
what do you call it? Like dystopia.
Yeah, imagine. That's the way they're making money at women's refuges now. You can come and have a look at shaken women who've come out of abusive relationships and other circumstances.
See if you can make a connection with them.
Yeah.
See if they approach you through the fence.
You should probably get off that subject fairly rapidly, shouldn't we?
Yeah, that is being very facetious.
Yeah, it's not something I want by any means. I was just saying, what if? You know, it's just...
What if? You can always dream, can't you? But yeah, I do like animals. I'm a fan of cat. Well, we've got a cat, cats and dogs. My grandpa, on the other hand, he's made it his life's mission because he likes his gardening and he's got a lovely garden. He makes it one of his life missions to eradicate any cat within the garden.
Yeah, this is common.
And he's quite funny about it, to be fair. One of his techniques, apart from obviously, he's got loads of super soakers.
Yeah.
And water pistols. But one of his other techniques was paraffin.
Really? Oh, yeah. Jesus.
And he got an air rifle recently.
Oh, no.
So.
Fucking hell. So I can't understand people who are hating cats enough to do that. Is that, you know, it's the thought of someone owning a cat and then the cat not coming home. And you're thinking, what the fuck's happened to the cat? I wonder what's happened. And then weeks go by and you think, fucking hell, it must have been killed. And some arsehole's gone and shot him with a fucking air rifle. Jesus Christ.
Just to put it out there, he's not shot any cats.
No, I'm sure he hasn't, no.
It's quite amusing that he's never harmed a cat whatsoever.
No.
But it's the amusing the amount of equipment that he has that he could potentially wage a full-scale war upon any four-legged fairy creature.
Yeah, I suppose it becomes
it's brilliant.
An obsession in a way, doesn't it? You think, well, come the day that there's some kind of cat festival in the garden, I'm going to go fucking mental and kill them all. Yeah, people get really, really possessive about the fucking gardens, don't they? I suppose if you spent a lot of money on it and you want it to look nice, and some bastard cat turns up and shits all over the place and ruins the plants, I'd be pissed off. Fair enough. I wouldn't instantly think of trying to murder them all though, because at the end of the day, someone owns that cat, and it is, I don't know. It comes into the territory of, well, you're all right with eating animals, aren't you? What's wrong with killing a cat? You think, well, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I like cats. They're really nice.
I think you can buy the like My First Grenade kits on eBay.
My First Grenade? Jeez. Well, like made by Fisher Price or something like that. Jesus.
My First M2 Grenade.
Wow. And they're, what, solely designed for killing cats?
I'm just saying you could entertain the kids on killer frogs.
Yeah, maybe. There's like less violent means. Like you say, the super soaker. The cat's not going to come back after that. After being hit by a good blast of water, that'll stick in its mind. It's not going to come back. I think that's proven to work. I've heard that before. You can get those tone alarms, that certain things can hear and certain people can't. I think dogs can. Dog whistle.
The really high pitched.
Yeah, but I think you can get the same.
It's beyond our frequency of hearing.
Yeah, you can get the same sort of thing for cats, I think, which sounds like a good idea. But as well as that, you can get little spikes that you put in the soil around the plants. Not like sharp, horrible, piercing
like
spikes,
the pits
but
that you used to have in Vietnam.
Yeah, basically.
Put leaves over it. And
just get a load of napalm as well
punji
while you're
sticks
at it as well. Agent Orange tends to do the trick. Is it Agent Orange? Is that so? Yeah.
It's a defoliant.
Yeah.
So basically, it kills all the greenery,
Right.
all the leaves on the trees, and all the undergrowth. So the idea is that a lot of the Vietnamese were hiding in like trees and in the undergrowth and things like that. Whereas if you just completely wipe all the greenery away, it's like a blank canvas, and they stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And all they did was just ruin the scenery.
Yes. So it doesn't have any effect on people then. It was just forestry.
It may do if you're in the if you're in the fallout of it.
Yeah.
But it's not designed as a biological weapon in terms of harming humans. It's just to defoliate a forest so you can see straight through it.
Yeah, fair enough. So they can get the bastard, which brings me on. So it brings me on to a subject I wanted to bring up, which is a long bugbear of mine. In that I've got a friend who I haven't seen now for over 3 years, named Josh, and I know him. Nath knows him from years ago, and he still lives relatively close to me. It's only over the flyover. But like I say, I haven't seen him in all this time, mainly for reasons, from what I understand, are down to mental illness. Christ.
Wowzers
trousers, indeed. So recently, I took it upon myself to go with another friend of mine, Josh Jordan, to go and see if we could bring him out of his house or spot him coming out of his house. As creepy as it sounds, but in 3 years, despite numerous attempts of knocking on his door and ringing his home phone and his mobile phone, he's not answered the door or answered his phone. So it's got to the point now where I feel a little bit desperate and trying to find out if there's anything wrong, if there's anything I can do, if he's okay, and get to the bottom of it, really. I mean, if someone doesn't want to see me because we've fallen out because of something I've done, it's fairly understandable, but we haven't fallen out. There is nothing I've done in the past that would make me think, oh, that's why he's not speaking to me.
Yeah, there's no reason as to why.
It's down, presumably, solely down to his mental health. So, I mean, it's nothing you can really do if someone doesn't want to see you. That's it, basically. And in all these attempts at knocking on his door to try and get him out of his house, he's always just sat there, presumably in his house, heard the knock on the door, and thought, fuck it, I know that is bollocks to it. Because it's no mystery that it will be me. He knows that I'm probably going to be coming round. I've even tried, I wrote him a letter on his birthday a few years ago to try and appeal to him, and got no response from that. A lot of people would say there's no point whatsoever in carrying on this. If they don't want to see you, that's it.
There's every point, especially if you've got the suspicions of...
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, for all I know, he's doing completely fine, and he just doesn't really feel like seeing me anymore, and that's the end of it. But judging from what I know about him, and in all the years that we were close, he isn't someone... He's potentially a manic depressive, and someone I'd worry about. So getting to the bottom of what's going on feels like something I can't really get away from, really, as much as it's frustrated me over the years, because I think it's really fucking annoying that he's right there in his house and he just won't come downstairs and answer the fucking door. But I don't know, you just can't really give up because you think, well, I haven't done anything wrong, we haven't fallen out, so what is it? So
it's definitely worth keeping up with the. I think harassment's too.
It is harassment. You say it's too strong, but I don't know. This is the thing. When me and Josh Jordan went and camped out in front of his house the other day, and sat there in my car for 2 hours, I felt fucking weird about it because numerous neighbours passed by the car and made eye contact as if to say, "You're not from round here," because this is a small little parking bay that only people in these houses use, so we all know each other, and you're not from round here, so what are you doing? And the fact that one or two of them saw me and Josh sat there more than once over the 2 hours that we were sat there, he's thinking, well, I've seen you once about an hour ago, and you're still here now, sat in this Toyota Yaris. What are you fucking doing?
A black one as well.
Yeah, it's dodgy stuff. Josh made it worse because he bought binoculars to try and see into Christ knows what, to make a bit of a joke of it. But if the police would have come and seen that and asked us what we were doing, I would have gladly explained the full thing. But is it harassment though?
I think it's endearing. An old friend that needs some help that seems very reluctant to accept it. I think it's endearing that there's still people that are willing to go that extra mile to make sure that person's okay.
Yeah, the thing that I keep on thinking, I mean, I've wanted to fall out with the idea many a time, but Millie has constantly said, you know, if it was me in that situation and I was feeling like that, I'd like to think that there was still people who cared enough to find out what was going on.
Yeah.
And I feel the same. I think, like, if I was that down and out, then it'd be nice to know that people still would want to find out what was going on.
Yeah. Even if you was in a state of mind where you had isolated yourself to quite an extreme extent, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. People don't come round really quickly.
No.
But I'm pretty sure that he's aware because he's knocked on his door. So he's aware of it, and hopefully that is...
Yeah, hopefully it means something to him at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is...
it would mean something.
Yeah, it's frustrating in a way because if you hear that knock on the door, that's acknowledgement that people still care, so you don't even need to see them, do you? You think, well, I can hear that knock, fuck it, that's enough. So that, in a way, is probably made him believe that he can carry on doing what he's doing, because he doesn't feel the need to see people anymore, clearly.
But people can convince themselves otherwise.
Yeah.
Depending on their frame of mind, people can convince themselves that it's just a necessity, or they're not doing it out of their own...
Yeah, you don't know what's going on in someone's brain at all, do you?
Yeah.
And that's another really, really frustrating thing about it all. You just don't know the circumstances at all. You don't know what's going on in his head. For all I know, like I say, he might be doing fine. He might be working full time somewhere, and
I think
just
if
got
it was
a new
fine,
life.
I think if it was fine, he would at least come to the door and
yeah.
say something.
Yeah.
And
Probably
let you
so.
Understand what the situation
After
is.
the letter I wrote him, and after all the attempts, you think it's the least you could do. Especially because, like I say, we haven't fallen out about anything. As far as I know, I've not done anything wrong enough for him to cut contact like he has. It's just down to himself. I mean, knowing him like I did years ago, it's always been a thing that he was susceptible to was reclusion. Just wanted to be away from people all the time, and it would be really notoriously difficult to get him out of the house and to do normal things that you do with other people, even something as simple as go to the fucking cinema to see a film. Things that you do with friends, it was always on his terms. It was always, you know, when he felt like it and if he felt like it, and it was always frustrating. And it's just got worse and worse and worse over the years, to the point it is now where he's just completely out of bounds.
Yeah.
I think me being
hopefully that what you're doing is, I think, it's brilliant, and I think hopefully if you can make some sort of breakthrough, even if it's
I hope so. Yeah.
even if it's just getting a few words out of them, even if it's a real brief interaction.
Yeah.
At least you understand a bit more.
Yeah, just something. I mean, like I said in the letter I wrote to him years ago, you know, until I hear from you that you don't want to see me anymore, that you want me to leave you alone, I'm gonna keep trying because I don't know what's going on. What me and Josh Jordan were laughing about in a way is because, like, what would you actually do if, when the day comes when you actually catch him coming out of his house? It's been this long. I'm gonna freak out basically, so I'm gonna run over and probably not fucking attack him or anything, but it's like, wow, what the fuck is going on? So it's how you deal with that situation judging how delicate it is that you could easily get it wrong.
So basically you're going to spend like a year or so slowly coaxing him out the house, and when he finally does come out, you're going to scare the shit out of him so much.
Yeah, because imagine the excitement you feel. You've been waiting all this fucking time for someone to leave the house and for you to catch a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking hell, shit. I need to go fucking say something. What am I going to say? Fuck. So it's going to be really difficult, and it will probably end in tears. Me and Josh Jordan were worried that he was armed because, I don't know, maybe over the years he's got paranoid and he's got a knife on him. So he pulls a knife on me and I'm suddenly fucking stabbed or something like that. It could go really fucking wrong. You just don't know. So it'd be a delicate situation that I fuck knows what I'm going to do. It's like, when you've fascinated over something like this for as long as I have, when the moment actually comes, it's like all your Christmases come at once all of a sudden. It's like, here's what used to be my best friend suddenly turning up after all this time. He doesn't want to see me still, from what I know, but fuck it, I need to fucking speak to him because I haven't spoken to him in all this fucking time. It's a horrible situation, really.
Yeah. It is a shame. I don't know him nowhere near as well as you.
Yeah.
But he was a good lad to chat to. But
yeah.
I had no idea of the troubles or anxieties or
it's the extent
else
of it. Yeah, it's bizarre. Like I say, there's probably a lot I don't know. There's answers I need basically, and if all it comes to is him saying, "Look, I'm fine, leave me alone," then fair enough. That's fine. I'll do that for the rest of his life because that's clearly what he wants. But I just need to hear that because it's like, imagine someone died suddenly and you never got a chance to say goodbye. It's a similar sort of aspect. You think, oh fucking hell, I just need closure in a way. If that's all I can have. You
have to be careful that he doesn't say it without meaning it though. He might say it just because of like a self-confidence thing. It's like, well, if you're in a state of mind where you think, oh, nobody cares, then you might be more free and willing to turn around and say, no, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. But then it's on your back almost to kind of continue
the dialogue and try and get more answers,
even though he's kind of pushing you away, because it's a natural well, it's a thing that people do.
The person he is, he basically has complete control of his own life, and it's always been that way, and he won't have anybody interfering. I've never been able to make him do anything he doesn't want to do. Like I said about, simple things like meeting up in certain places at certain times, it's always on his terms. So no matter what I say about, you've got to try and get out more and see me because I need to see you, because I need to make sure you're okay, he's going to fall on deaf ears. And like you say, he'll probably say the right thing in the circumstances, like yeah, I'll do that, or no, I don't want to see you ever again. It's just whatever fits the situation at the time. But the full reality of the situation is it requires more than one conversation there and then. It's borderline intervention territory, isn't it? Where you get a fucking group of you kidnap him, you shove him in a room, and you really interrogate him for an hour or so, and get to the bottom of what you're going to do next. But there's certain territory I can feel myself being capable of treading, and certain territory I feel like I don't know. I I can't picture myself doing it. I'd like to fucking kidnap him and roll him up in a carpet and give him some kind of fucking hard treatment for. That sounds like I'm gonna shag him.
Is that a pun? Is it a shag carpet?
Well, yeah. No, all I want to know is that he's okay and that, you know, where to go from there, really. I don't know. It's difficult. What I want is to be able to see my friend again on a fairly regular basis, but if the most you can manage is catching him coming out of his house on the odd occasion he walks his dog, and then he says to you something like, you know what, maybe we'll meet up again sometime soon, and you leave it at that, it isn't enough, because you know he won't answer his door, and you know he's still not got he's not actually got a working mobile number, and he won't answer his home phone, so you won't get anywhere.
Yeah.
So all of that will have been for nothing, and you'd just be back to square one. So.
Yeah, that is a peculiar situation, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. I've just got to keep on trying. We've got to try and pinpoint his movements, as Josh Jordan says, and try and predict the right time that we're going to sit around his house and catch him without arousing too much suspicion from the neighbours and getting arrested.
I like the fact that it's such a serious subject, yet the name of the operation that you've allocated.
Get the bastard.
Get the bastard.
Yeah, that was Josh Jordan who coined that. I think it was just in a conversation over Facebook Messenger, who was just saying, "We'll get the bastard," and that stuck with me. I do want to get the bastard, definitely. I think I said to Josh Jordan this morning, actually, I think if this is a success and we finally fucking solve the situation, then we'll take it from there, and we'll travel the country getting other bastards. We'll dig other people out. And we'll get the bastard on t-shirts or Team GTB.
Like the Ghostbusters, get the bastards.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna call? Get the bastards.
Yeah.
Fully qualified mental health team in a black Yaris.
Yeah.
Crisis intervention. Tom and JJ.
Just don't know.
Nah, I think continuing what you're doing is what you're doing is good.
Like I said,
it's the best. It's the best.
I don't know British law well enough to say whether or not this is harassment, though. I think some people might argue it really is.
I wouldn't worry about harassment. It's not. You're not harassing them in a negative way. You're harassing them because you want, because you care for somebody.
The other thing,
there's no negative intent behind.
No, there isn't.
The actions.
If you're not causing any sort of social disturbance, you're not particularly a problem for the police, are you? If you're just sat there in a car, not playing loud music, not shouting and screaming at people, not causing any sort of abusive behaviour, then the police probably won't be interested. And they'll say, well, to the neighbours, they'll say, well, have you asked them what they're doing? And, you know, typically, I can imagine people will probably phone the police before they ask us what we do.
Yeah.
And that'll be the problem. But, you know, like I said, I'll happily explain to anybody what I'm doing.
But it's a means of dialogue. It opens dialogue, doesn't it? I mean, if the police came around, then there's a possibility that the neighbours could understand what is happening, and they could help. If your neighbours, you'd like to think, no matter how much crap they put in your bin, or how much they block your driveway, that in a pinch, that they would be willing to help.
Yeah, the thing is
and
that
intervene when necessary. It's just a caring human nature.
Yeah, I mean, I ran into an old bloke from just across from his house not so long ago, and he asked, "Oh, are you after Gail, his mum?" And I said, "No, I'm after Josh. And do you know if he still even lives there?" And he said, "Yeah, as far as I know, he does, but he's probably a late riser. I don't know what time of day he's out and about." So, you know, his neighbours are aware of him, but don't speak to him or anything like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Someone's very, very reclusive.
Yeah.
But like you say, you've always got to keep that in the back of your mind. It's like, actually, is he alright? He's just one of those type of people that is extremely reclusive.
Yeah.
But you'd like to think that even no matter how reclusive you are, you can at least open some form of dialogue with old friends.
Yeah.
Whether it be through written form, media, social media, or physically speaking to somebody.
Yeah.
So we got through the meat and the burns, straight to the heart on that one. I think it was a good conversation. Needed conversation.
Yeah, it's obviously subjects that's really mattered to me for years and years, so it feels good to try and raise awareness of it for anybody who cares, and for anybody who sort of identifies with it and sort of things. Yeah, I do worry about that certain person in my life that I haven't seen in years. Maybe I should make more effort and try and find out what the deal is, if they're okay. There's probably times in everybody's life where they feel a little bit isolated and don't really feel like getting in touch with people as much as we should. So we all can identify with it to some extent, really. There's good times and bad for everyone. Sometimes people go through it for years and years, unfortunately, and don't know how to get help, don't know what to do with themselves, and it comes down to other people to try and help them.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Usually it's intervention by like professional bodies, but the thing I like about it and the whole thread of it is that there's still some dedicated friends and friendships there that are.
I do think a lot of it comes down to my personality, is that I'm probably a little bit fucking obsessive and weird about it, whereas other people, I've talked to people about it in the past who don't know Josh, and they would say, no, just leave him alone, he doesn't want to see you, and that's that. But me being me, I can't really leave it at that. I don't know.
That's not a negative there.
No, not necessarily, no, I don't think so. But anyway.
Everyone has their different ways of approaching the situation.
Yeah, definitely.
So how are you enjoying the beers then, Tom?
I am, yeah.
You've sank 4.
Coping well. Yeah, I thought I drank more, to be honest. I think because I'm obviously a little bit sleep deprived and coming off night shifts, alcohol hits you harder, and drinking during the day is more exciting, so your body might react to it a bit more. I like to think.
Do you think you're going to start tripping balls at any moment now?
You know what? I was just looking at the graphics on the screen to this YouTube video that we've got in the background while you're out of the room, and for some reason felt a very, very faint wave of euphoria going through me for no apparent reason, in a similar sort of way to ways I felt in the past in worse circumstances. But it's mainly down to the fact that I'm drinking during the day and I'm slightly sleep deprived. Really, there's ways and means to affect the state of mind using fairly innocent methods, I think
it is a heightened experience drinking throughout the day as well.
It's brilliant. I'd recommend it to everyone.
We started at 12. It's a Saturday. It is a weekend.
Yeah, there's that as well.
It is free time.
Yeah. Maybe it's just the fact that it's Saturday that I felt anything at all. The Saturday feeling is,
I usually numb throughout the weekdays.
Yeah, I'm off every other weekend now as part of my shift pattern, but when it comes around, it's still the weekend feeling and you're excited for it. You probably appreciate it more because you work every other one. So, yeah, it's nice. Maybe I'll get to that point in my life at some stage where I don't need to drink anything at all. I'll just sit there buzzing off my tits.
Just
because
the sheer excitement of leaving on Friday.
Yeah, I was thinking,
it'll carry you through the weekend.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'll sit there, I'll read half of a book on a Saturday, and that'll be enough.
You always got to feel like you've done something productive over the weekend, and I feel like a couple of chapters of a book on a Friday night, Saturday morning, then your weekend's complete. You can do whatever you want with it after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can fully justify getting absolutely battered on a Saturday afternoon if you've got a couple of chapters of a good
Jane Austen,
yeah, or the Bronte brothers, not brothers, they're sisters, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Bronte sisters book.
Yeah, the brothers are the lesser known of the family. Unfortunately, they wrote
The
less
outcast
popular
twins.
novels, but they're out there if anybody is interested. Yeah, it's mostly about what's it when you nick apples from people's gardens? It's
Scrumping?
scrumping. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what most of their novels are about. Unfortunately, if you believe it or not, 460 pages of scrumping. But they're good books, and they're undercredited because of the sisters, unfortunately.
Yeah, just overshadowed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a liberating experience drinking during the day. It's
It's a freedom. It's a real liberation in a way. It's sat there thinking, "Fuck it all! I shouldn't be doing this. It's not the norm. It's not socially acceptable usually. If I was out on the street doing this in broad daylight, there'd be some old woman looking through her curtains, disgraced, really pissed off, and that's a nice thought in a way."
Do you think it's a Western privilege to be able to
Yeah,
get
in a way, yeah.
liquored up on a Saturday?
Imagine yourself stood out in the street on a sunny day in a cowboy hat with a yard of ale. That'd be the dream, wouldn't it? In a way.
It sounds good. I wouldn't say it's the
sounds
dream.
great to me.
Is it your? Wait, it sounds
And a
like your
cigar
dream.
as well. That'd be fantastic.
Is in the music cigar.
Cigar.
Oh, cigar.
A
Sorry.
cigar.
Because cigar don't really go with a cowboy hat, does it?
No.
A bit of Toots and the Maytals and a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
You got wrong end of the stick there, haven't you?
Yeah. It's a nice thought. Did you want to talk about motivational speakers at all? That was another subject I wanted to bring up at some point.
I'm open to all content.
Great. I'm really bad at introducing
Encyclopedia
subjects.
Britannia.
Well, yeah, I've noticed on the second episode of doing this with you, you have a natural way of leading into subjects that you do so well, and I'm basically like a baby elephant, and I just come stumbling in with like, "But did you want to talk about that or what?" And it never works for me. And I probably should just leave it to you, really. But now that I've mentioned it, did you want to talk about motivational speakers? Because I know we mentioned it earlier.
No.
Right, we'll leave it then.
No, I'm joking. Motivational speakers. Are we motivational speakers? Do you think there's any motivation to the content that we're providing?
No, because I don't know. There's motivational speakers in my mind are people who stand at the front of like a big hall in front of a lot of people sat down, usually from work, who have been forced to go and sit there, and you'll go on about absolute worthless shite that means fucking nothing. You're just basically saying, "Look, if you just believe in yourself, then it'll happen," and words of that effect.
Yeah.
But that's just one definition of the motivational speaker.
You know what I think? I find it highly offensive. There's probably other people out there there is definitely other people out there that don't find it offensive because you have to pay for this. But there is an advert on TV at the moment where if you've got an indoor bicycle, one of those ones that's like a resistance cycle, you know, the one that it doesn't go anywhere, it's just a bike that you've got in your spare bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
What they've started doing is you can like hook up your iPad or whatever screen, and you can pay for somebody else to be on that screen, and it's like a live feed of basically a film of somebody else on the bike. But what they're doing is they're cycling along with you, like head to head, so face to face, and they're giving you inspirational talks whilst they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that is awful.
Yeah, it sounds revolting.
In every single way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It reminds me of when I had the membership at the gym on Clough Road, Exercise for Less, and how I never ever came close to talking to any of the personal trainers throughout the entire time there, because the entire idea of personal trainers is revolting to me. To be the guy who comes over and goes, "Hey, how are you doing? Do you need a little bit of a push in the right direction? Do you know what you're doing here? Do you want a bit of a hand? I've got the advice if you need it." And it just sounds...
It sounds convincing.
Yeah, I'd like to do it as a joke one day, but
Just break into JD gyms and
Yeah, if I nicked the uniform and did it, it'd be a good laugh. But the fact that people do it for a profession, I just don't know how you do it. You're basically putting on an act. You can't be that person seriously, but people are. It becomes a part of who you are. You take it that seriously, where you can't turn it off anymore. If you're in that line of work, you are like that 24/7. It's like, hey, and did you do that though? Did that feel great enough for you? Hey? And you're like, oh Jesus Christ, just turn it off. Just talk to me like a normal person. And I'm not saying that every personal trainer is like that all the fucking time, but a good amount of them probably are. If you're sat there ripped as fuck and you feel fucking great about yourself because you spend every minute of your working life in a gym focusing on your health, physical health, you are going to be obsessed with it, and you just...
It is a novelty being that motivated.
Yeah.
Because it's unnatural for people to be that motivated that amount of the time. So
it's ugly. It becomes ugly.
Yeah, you realise, you understand as a human that no person can be that there is very few that have that such positive motivation.
How do you keep that up?
It's sickening when you see it.
Yeah, it's got to be, but to everybody else, that's a common individual, you probably just think, oh, well, he's a personal trainer, so I expect it. But no, I'm worried about them. I'm worried about personal trainers. If you're like that all the time, there's probably something that you've done to your brain that none of the rest of us have done. Like you've probably rewired yourself in such a way that you're not even a real person anymore. Like if you sat a personality test or something like that, you give a bunch of fake answers, you wouldn't be honest with yourself. It's like, no, well, what would a personal trainer think? Well, I think positive thoughts. Even though I don't feel that way, I feel great about everything. I just want people to succeed. That's my job. It's like, I hate you.
Do you think you could go the opposite way? Where
be a negative trainer.
Yeah, where you're so negative that you give them positivity.
That's always been my ambition. Yeah, that's always the way I've thought about it. Yeah.
You basically act as like a ball and chain to the point at which that they go,
I reject this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've finally had enough of him.
Yeah.
He's a bastard. Yeah, that's the way it should work.
You cling on nevertheless because that is the motivation.
I think that would be far more effective than your typical, personal trainer at the gym. Someone who just came onto your house and constantly tried to make the situation worse and just constantly berated you with a load of fucking abuse. It's like, yeah, but you are shit though, aren't you? Yeah, you are really fat, and
You've got egg on your face.
yeah. If anyone's got it on the face, you have. You've definitely shot yourself in the foot there. Yeah, constant bombardment of abuse. I think that's effective. Definitely.
Even leaving phone recordings in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Breaking into someone's life. Where you just turn up at their work in the middle of the workday and be like, just abuse them in front of all the friends and the colleagues. You think, fucking hell, you'd change your life then, wouldn't you? But like, Christ alive, I'm not doing enough because this guy is not going to stop coming until I do something about this. That's effective.
Yeah.
There should be a real agency out there for people doing that.
Motivational speakers, apart from our personal trainers, I think it extends quite far, and I would class your evangelical preachers. I would say they're, to some extent, are like motivational speakers.
Yeah, I would agree with you, definitely.
But not for a good cause.
No.
They're motivating people in a direction that benefits them. One of good ones, video that I saw over in America, obviously, because you can't get away with this shit in Britain, is one of the pastors in one of these churches basically fakes being dead. So they'll do the sermon or whatever it's called. I don't know the technical language for it. And then they'll walk down the aisle and they'll just collapse on the back like that and pretend to be dead. And then there'll be somebody else over a microphone basically saying, to resurrect the pastor, we need to give him enough money.
Oh my god.
As though like it's, like a life-giving, like the dollar is like what you're giving, like the O negative to this pastor.
Yeah.
And all these people get off the pews and start throwing cash money at this pastor who's on the floor. He's not dead, you can see his chest going up and down, and the grin on his face. like some
laid there
dirty
smiling
stripper,
with a massive grin,
just absolutely getting caked in all these dollars, like dollar bills. And then he's like, "Oh, keep going, guys! He's coming alive!" And then he'll pretend to flinch and shit like that.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, we've nearly reached." And then after like $200 later, the pastor gets up and it's like he's been resurrected by good.
That's
and
appalling.
Like, that is it's disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is.
It doesn't surprise me. It just sounds typical of, you big wild American church. Just wild things go on in there. But yeah, that's probably the worst of motivational speakers out there. Really, when you tie in religion with that. I don't want to go into how much I hate religion, but because that's a separate subject. But I don't know, what sort of a person do you have to be a preacher in a church? My experience of a lot of vicars in this country, locally, more specifically, is that they're fairly down-to-earth sort of people, really. They're not people out there to do it for their own ego. They're doing it because they were interested in the job and they take it seriously and they're good at what they do. But in America, it's another thing altogether. It's just the case if you're a fucking lunatic and you're taking it upon yourself to spread that.
I suppose we've got to back down a little bit and say maybe it's a blanket comment where, because I've not been there and seen it for myself, that maybe it is just one out of every 30 parishes. I know parish is a British term, but a parish that maybe gets into this more extreme end of things. But it is fucking extreme.
It's a form of extremism, really. I think you probably have to be extreme these days. In our country, when it comes to Christianity, they could do with more extremism because it's a dying thing. It's
get it back on the map.
Yeah, if you took the American attitude towards a British church these days and tried to get people up and dancing and fucking singing their hearts out in such a way, then it might get more people going. But I don't think anybody cares about it enough in any of these churches to say we're going to do that.
You need a bit of spin to it, though. You need a bit of a story. Again, this goes with the motivation, doesn't it?
Yeah, you need to fake a miracle first.
Yeah,
I suppose. Yeah.
I think a new, like we were talking about earlier, it can be quite, certain phrases can be quite powerful, and I would maybe play on words. So, obviously Jesus was nailed to the cross, but cross means is another word for being angry. So you could say Jesus is cross, and that it's got two meanings, hasn't it? So it means not only that he died for our sins, but he's
cross.
He's angry.
I pictured a crossroad. I don't know how you could tie that in. You suddenly plant. If you painted Jesus in the middle of a crossroads on a popular motorway as advertisement for a church, do you think that'd get people going? No, it wouldn't really work, really, because in your car you'd see something on the road, wouldn't you, and you'd think, Jesus Christ, I've just run someone over. Jesus Christ, I've just run over Jesus Christ. Oh, no,
yeah, but you could make people question it, couldn't you? So if on a crossroads you could put a big banner up saying Jesus knows that you have reached a crossroad. And then you've not only physically reached a crossroad,
you've got a talent for
but
these
Jesus,
things, I swear.
Jesus has just brought on you and said, metaphorically, you have reached a crossroads as well.
Yeah.
And no matter what route you take, whether you go left, right, or straight on, you're going to be thinking about that poster. for a long time.
I think we should work for the church, really. I think what you've just said there, that's what they're not doing in this country, really. I think you want to get people down to your fucking church, putting the contributions in the plate that they pass around. You need to be painting Jesus in the middle of a crossroads and provoking people, really. Just getting them thinking, you know. I was at a crossroads and I saw Jesus Christ. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Maybe I should go to church.
This is where you catch people out.
Yeah.
When people are in deep thought and they don't have the answer, that's when you jump on them.
Yeah.
You jump on them and go, I have the answer.
Yeah, when people are probably one of the most vulnerable on a daily basis as well. On the way to work, you're at a cross junction, you're stuck in traffic, and you see Christ painted in front of you. You think, it's about time I got back to my religious roots. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something in there.
Well,
but they're not doing it though, are they? So, you know, they just don't care. Maybe most people in church, the impression I've got, like I've hinted at, is that most vicars in this country don't give a fuck anymore, and they're fairly casual about these things, and they know it's dying, and they know it's all bollocks. So
they need to get with the programme and get a marketing department.
Yeah, send them all to America, give them a revamp, saying, look, what are you in this for? You know, you want to bring people towards Christianity, or are you just in this for the money? Which I presume isn't that much. I don't know how much a vicar makes these days.
I don't know. They've got a lot of bling though, haven't they?
Yeah. I like to think it's probably a decent wage, but there's probably a lot of rigmarole you've got to go through to be a vicar.
Well, if you do what they did, like I said earlier with America, where you just roll about on the floor asking, asking to get resurrected.
Yeah, I can't imagine they went through a lot of rigmarole to be.
I mean, it sounds awful, but I mean, there's if you was in a pinch, if you needed to go out and earn money and you had no job, would that be something you would consider?
I remember mentioning this to my mum when I was unemployed when I was 18. I was thinking, what does it take to be a vicar? I don't know what made me ask that, because I've never been in any way even remotely religious. But I was just thinking, surely it can't take much to just go up there every Sunday and start talking crap. Surely.
I wonder if they do apprenticeships in it.
Probably so, yeah. Like I said, I do think...
It'd be slightly ironic that it was government funded, because apprenticeships are, aren't they?
Yeah. It would be interesting. There's probably... I don't know. It'd be a long-winded process, I'm sure. There's probably some sordid thing that I don't even want to know about. You've got to fuck at least 5 vicars before you become a vicar. Is the way I see it anyway.
What do you mean by fuck? Do you mean like as in sexually, or do you mean fight them in like the...
No, I mean fuck them. I mean shag them.
Shag them. So it's not like some underground fight scene where you've got...
That'd be good as well. You've got
to work your way up through a leaderboard.
Yeah, it's like a computer game, basically.
So we're distilling this down to Christianity is like a computer game.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. These days, why not? I mean, moving with modern times. If the Church of England said the only way we're going to recruit vicars now is to have them fight at least 5 of us.
And going off the back of that, there was a game that was created. I can't remember what cause it was for. I know it was a racist cause. So it came out in the 90s. It's not very well publicised because people don't want anything to do with it. They don't want the marketing for it. But have you ever played Doom?
Yeah,
the original, the very first Doom.
I know of it. I don't think I've ever played it. No.
Can you?
I can picture it though. I've seen the film. So the Rock's there, and he turns evil, and there's some woman. There's a romantic interest of some kind. Yeah. None of that happens in the game, does it?
No.
But
this is completely separate from the film.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we take the Doom graphics or Duke Nukem graphics.
Yeah.
With a
I played Duke Nukem actually. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So you played Duke Nukem. So you understand that first person perspective. Basically, somebody recreated a game, and what you do is it's fucking grim. You're portrayed as like a bit of a, I think it's like a skinhead or something like that.
Yeah, I
and
do
what
know.
you do
I've heard of
is
this,
you're basically pushed into this room.
Yeah.
And there's loads of other quote unquote enemies.
Yeah.
But the enemies are black people and
Mexicans.
black people, Mexicans,
Anyone who isn't white.
homosexuals.
Yeah.
And basically, what you do is you first person and just beat the crap out of them and just kill all these people in this room.
This might have been on Louis Theroux documentary.
I think that's where I might have got it from.
You know,
I picked it up
there's some mother of two twin blonde girls, and I think it's that one where this woman is basically bred into her two twin girls. The white is right, basically, and I think it's them who play this game, and I think it's mentioned a few times throughout that Louis Theroux episode. Yeah, I can't remember what the fucking game's called. I don't want to know what the game's called.
It's on Wikipedia somewhere.
Yeah,
I can't remember what the game's called or what if it was for any particular establishment or cause.
Nah. Do you remember that Louis Theroux episode? Do you know about the same one? Those two twin girls. It's a bit horror movie-ish. Basically, he meets this woman, this blonde-haired woman, and she's presumably a single mother, and she's got these two twin girls, and they sing. They go on to a music festival, a skinhead music festival, and these two girls perform this act.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? No.
No.
Because I swear that's where I saw that game on it, but it might have been a different one anyway. I don't know.
Yeah. Here's a good. I suppose going off related to motivational speakers, I think what's more motivational is people who actually explore these different aspects of these different like weird subcategories of like social movements.
Yeah.
Which is like is a journalist, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Louis Theroux, he kind of
he's a funny type of journalist.
He kind of
Louis
gets
Theroux.
balls deep in some.
He
crazy...
does, yeah. It's very ambitious, but at the same time quite gentle, and it's a weird thing. I think he did one the other day that I watched about the sex industry in this country. How it's selling online these days. It's moving from brothels to people advertising themselves on websites and saying, look, come round, give me 50 quid, you can shag me. And he was just talking to women like that. But the tone of the entire thing was negative. He was always looking at him as if to say, but isn't this wrong though? But all the women were saying, look, I know what I'm doing. I'm in perfect control. I'm in my own home. I feel safe. I feel fine for it. I'm earning extra cash. I'm a single mum. I'm supporting myself, and they're all trying to defend themselves. But the whole thing, this premise, the way it was coming across is like, it's bad though, isn't it? So it was confusing, really. I think he didn't do himself any favours to some degree. I suppose you can't
have some sort of bias.
No,
it must be really difficult.
It's supposed to be
into
impartial, isn't it?
Yeah, to be completely impartial. Because I mean, in mass, that is something that would be kind of frowned upon, wouldn't it? Prostitution is always.
Yeah, it's the sex industry. It's always supposed to be sordid, but other documentaries you've seen about brothels and things like that. I think he's done one or two on brothels where he's been fairly light-hearted about it. Where he's been like, brothels are brothels, good laugh, isn't it? And he's gone around and visited people who work in them, and it's fairly all right. But this one, where it's been meeting up with people who are selling themselves online, just came across as very negative. And I think it just struck me as odd, really. But now and again, he gets it wrong. I think Louis Theroux. I do really like what he does, but sometimes it's just the way the tone. It's obvious that he is coming with some kind of bias, really. He tries to remain impartial, but he's not, so...
I think it's difficult. You're always, through your dialogue, you're always going to give yourself away of what you truly think. He's absolutely fucking brilliant as a...
Yeah, I think he's done a lot of great documentaries over the years. He's really good at what he does, because he just manages to maintain that level of harmlessness where people will always talk to him about all these subjects fairly liberally.
He's got some weird, I don't want to say innocence about him, but like non-threatening nature, where he can get away with asking quite intensive questions, but you don't want to smack him in the face.
Yeah. Partly because he wears glasses as well. I never punch a guy in glasses. No, it's fine. That one where he met that skinhead family in America, not the same one that I mentioned earlier, but they've managed to figure out he was Jewish, and it was in their home as well, and it was got to the point where tensions were frayed, and somehow he managed to stay there though, because at one point it looked like they were about to batter him, and
clawed it back.
Yeah, it managed to sort of figure itself out, and he was all right. So whatever the other fucking members of the crew said and did to manage that situation, they did very well. And the next scene, they all seem to be perfectly fine. So he is a master of what he does in a way.
Let's not go by without mentioning Ross Kemp.
Phil Mitchell is what you got. Yeah, Ross Kemp's come back again.
Fucking crossover.
We mentioned Ross Kemp last episode, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he comes up in every single one then.
Yeah, I hope eventually he endorses us.
I'll tell you what, right? He visited our city, Dunelm Mill, which is a shop that sells fabrics. He did like an open event there.
Really? What,
yeah.
Dunelm on Clough Road?
Yeah, Ross Kemp.
That's right, near Millie's work, that.
Yeah.
When was that?
Years ago, years ago.
Okay.
And I was real fucked off that I didn't go.
No, yeah. What the fuck was he doing at Dunelm?
I've no idea, but the man's a dream.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a dreamboat.
Right, so just on the subject of Ross Kemp, which relates back to the previous podcast if you've listened, he was in a TV show about SAS, and he was a SAS squadron leader, and that show is called Ultimate Force.
Ultimate Force? Christ. When did that come out? Was that early 2000s, something like that, would you say?
Yeah. 2002 it came out.
Right.
In 4 seasons.
Wow, Christ.
It was really good. And unfortunately he stopped because he started doing more serious stuff and doing documentaries.
Yeah. I think all the pretending to be in the SAS went to his head. And then
and that car crash, definitely.
What car crash?
In EastEnders.
Yes, yeah.
I keep going back to that because it was a monumental moment for me.
It was
a big moment.
It will have affected him too, definitely.
Yeah.
Highlight of his career. He'd probably bring it up if you got him drunk.
Because it is a real life in it.
What, EastEnders?
Yeah.
It is documentary, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a documentary on EastEnders
life.
life. Yeah.
I thought it was, yeah.
You're right.
I mean, they do well to bring
Phil Mitchell is his brother, you're right.
Yeah.
And Phil Mitchell has been on crack. That is, for me, the best part of EastEnders, Phil on crack. If you ever get bored, YouTube Phil Mitchell on crack, because you don't need to see any other part of EastEnders.
I've got a feeling that if you just type Phil on crack in Google,
we all know
it could be anybody.
People on crack in general, yeah. Great viewing, great. What's his name from Red Dwarf? Oh Christ!
The one that does Radio 2 now.
Yeah. Craig Charles.
That's it. Yeah,
Craig Charles.
Funk Master.
I think he's either pilled up or on a lot of coke or whatever he's on. But Craig Charles was DJing. I don't know if he still does it, but there's a video of him on a lot of drugs DJing in some club in the middle of nowhere. That's very funny. You should Google that.
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, Craig Charles's life was a triangle of Coronation Street, crack, and DJing.
You forgot the other. I think it's more of a triangle than a square. There's 4 points to his life rather than 3.
I thought there was something else.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Robot Wars.
No, that wasn't the same time.
Wasn't it?
No, he wasn't doing Coronation Street and Robot Wars at the same time. No one can manage that. You can't do crack, Coronation Street, and Robot Wars all at the same. I mean, he's talented. He's good at what he does, but fucking hell, he can't manage that. There's no human alive that can manage that. Jesus Christ. You know what a tighter schedule Coronation Street is? It's on 3 times a week. Christ. Yeah, so he had that triangle going on. He would occasionally DJ at a club. He'd do a lot of crack and then go and do Coronation Street the next day.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine.
That's an intense
Yeah.
work regime.
If anything, my respect for him has gone up massively, despite Red Dwarf. Because I mean, Red Dwarf was a fantastic series. He went on from there to do Coronation Street. When it turned up on Coronation Street, I was surprised. As a long viewer of Coronation Street, and I'm not ashamed in saying that. I think it's the nation's best soap. When he turned up, I thought, brilliant. It's about time we had someone like Craig Charles. If I'd have known first and foremost that he was doing crack at the same time, Christ.
Massive respect.
Yeah, hugely. It wasn't until after he left Coronation Street that I found out that he was doing that. So it's unfortunate, really. And DJing at the same time. You know, imagine. Like, I think he got a fairly good fan base going for himself whilst the DJs because of Robot Wars and because of Red Dwarf. You're just going to turn up to see what that guy plays, aren't you? You think, well, this will be
He's done a
interesting.
few pantomimes as well.
Probably so, I can imagine.
Yeah, I've seen a few adverts of Craig Charles is the main event. You know what I mean? I mean, I'd like to think that he was not doing as much crack when he was doing the pantomimes for the kids.
I'd hope more. Crack and other drugs. I think if I was doing pantomime, I'd get myself on a lot of coke.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to make it all worthwhile, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got the right sort of energy, you've got the right vibe, you're loving your audience, you're loving what you do. Brilliant, brilliant. I think I could do a full circuit of panto.
That would be quite a depressing thing to hear from somebody in a job interview. If you've gone in absolutely off your tits on crack or speed or whatever, and they turn around and go, yeah, you've got the right sort of energy. And then from there on, you're actually committed.
Shit, that's what I have to do. And that's the only way. I knew it. I knew this would be the case. You know, it's a good job I bought that ounce. Christ.
Every morning, going into the fridge, sticking your finger in that squelchy putty speed. Just to get that right type of energy.
It's the only way. It's the way I make a hard buck.
Right. We're closing in on 2.5 hours.
Brilliant. That's exactly what I wanted. That's the amount of time I wanted to spend talking.
Yeah.
So, it's mission accomplished.
So, but before we close out, the missus has thrown us a little curveball, actually.
All right. This is interesting.
So see what you think about this. Obviously, we don't have an established name as it stands yet. We've been throwing a few ideas about behind backstage, but none of them have stuck. But I just got a text and with a suggestion of the name of the epitome of Anathema.
That sounds nice, yeah.
But the whole logic behind it is the word epitome has the word Tom in it.
Oh, yeah.
And the word anathema has the word Nath.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah.
There's some nice plays on words.
That's
in
very
that one.
good, actually, yeah. That might have to be it.
That's in the public domain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can always have a brood over that and see what we think.
We'll see, but I'm feeling quite positive about that, definitely.
Yeah. Good first impressions.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. I'm sure we've fucking chewed you fuckers' ears off long enough.
If you listen to this all the way through, thank you. I really appreciate that. Christ.
Yeah, if you've reached this point, then you're in the club.
Wow.
We don't have a name for the club.
I feel like I owe you a t-shirt or a balloon or something. I might make some balloons.
Fucking Tom balloons.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah. And you get a free week of Empire as well.
Yes, you do, yeah. I forgot about the sponsorship.
With every balloon.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting up with us. Peace out from me.
Goodbye.